Ooh, better turn off these dinger ringers. Hey, we are live. Week 1, boomer bust. We are back. Guys, it's what 8 months we've been on the sideline, no Sunday games, and we're back. And we get to ask questions, especially right off the bat from Craig with some IDP questions. So, Bryce, we're going to let you take this one first.
I'm going to go, actually, I don't know if it's the right answer, but I'm pretty sure Kyle Duggar is pretty valuable in IDP because he kind of lines up in the box a lot and is active in the run game. I'd imagine Philly tries to establish a decent run game with their 3 running backs. So I guess I'll go Kyle Duggar. I know who the other guys are, but I don't know.
You got to sit one.
Oh, sit one? I guess I'll sit Hufanga because I don't know. I'm just picking Hufanga. That's it.
That's who I was going to pick too, but I don't know. I know I'm starting Kyle Duggar because I actually have him in my 1 IDP, but
I think he's pretty good in the IDP leagues.
Yeah, I have 3 the top 12 rated safeties on RotoHeat, so hopefully they don't suck this year, or else I'm stabbing Brad and Craig. I probably shouldn't say that on YouTube. They'll probably ban me. Not stabbing. It's just a joke. Nobody's getting stabbed. He's too far away. Listen, last night we went for 2 hours answering questions. Just prepare yourself. Lots of Michael Thomas questions last night. Let's see who else was there. Cortland Sutton was a popular question last night. Running back Swift was in quite a few for running backs. Ramondre as well.
That's weird. People definitely worry about Zeke.
They're worried about Sick and they're worried about Zeke. And I don't understand either of them. If he plays, I'm firing him up. It's a bad matchup too.
I don't know, man. I understand it 100%.
I
don't see Ramondre getting targeted nearly as much as he did a year ago. And Zeke is a much more accomplished goal line back. The one area where Ramondre struggled last year. So do I think Ramondre Stevenson is still a start every week running back? Yep. But I don't think he's that top 12 running back I thought he was earlier in the offseason. He's more of a mid to lower back and RB2 for me now. So I get why people are a little bit worried based on the cost they paid to acquire.
I still think he's borderline top 12.
Yeah, I would.
One of the things that we have to remember is there's 6 running backs in the entire NFL that get all the work. And he's still going to get targeted. And the one thing is right now they don't have 3 backs like a lot of backfields do. When we look at, a lot of teams now have 3 guys. Look at Jeff Wilson's obviously on IR, but when he's back, there's 3 down there in Miami. Chicago's got 3. We can go down the list. Philly has 3 that we don't know. So Ramondre is just good. And I'm sorry, but Zeke is not Zeke of old. He's been declining for 2 years now. I do think he gets work, but I just don't think it's enough to when you consider all the backs that are in his range are all guys that are not getting all of the work as well. It's just a little hard for me to knock him too much when I just think he's more dynamic than a lot of the guys that are in that range. I do agree. He's got to be better on the goal line. If he wants to be top 6, but I have a video that's coming out soon. Talks about the 6 running backs that get all the work, and that's Saquon, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Austin Eckler, Josh Jacobs, and I'm missing one, and it's not Christian McCaffrey because he basically splits carries with Elijah Mitchell when he's healthy, which is true right now in week 1. But yeah, there's who am I missing? I know I'm missing one.
Sam again?
Who are the ones you said?
I said Saquon, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Austin Eckler.
Jonathan Taylor if he plays.
Jonathan Taylor. I actually say Jonathan Taylor if he gets on the field in the video. So, yeah, there's just not a lot. I guess this year we may see somebody like Cam Akers move into that role because they don't have anybody behind him. James Conner.
Kyron Williams might get a little touch. We'll see.
I mean, it depends on your flavor because there's people that think it's Zach Evans that's going to get some touches there as well. Miles Sanders, I still think Chuba's going to have some run with that team. I don't think Miles Sanders has never been able to take the full load and stay healthy. He's already had that issue. So yeah, it's just I mean, who knows? We don't know. We don't know shit. If we did, Thursday would have felt a lot better.
Thanks
right?
for tuning in, everybody.
Yeah.
Alex Payne wants to know Musgrave or Freiermuth. Sully, why don't you start us off?
So I'm going to admittedly not know a ton about Musgrave other than I've heard wonderful things about him so far in camp. And Freiermuth is an established tight end in a pretty nasty matchup in week 1 at home against San Francisco. But with that being said, I'm going to take the devil in overs as a devil I don't. I'm going to take Freiermuth and hope he scores. How about you, Bryce?
Yeah, I'm taking Freiermuth until I get some clarity on these usage from these rookie tight ends. It was good to see Sam Laporta. He was actually really involved in that offense. I hope Musgraves gets a similar situation. He has the ability with Christian Watson out, and then a report literally just came out on Sleeper that Romeo Doubs is going to be active, but with a snap count. So that opens the door definitely for Musgraves and any other young receivers on that team. But I'm going to go Muth until then.
Fire up Reed.
Here's the problem with Musgrave. And that is the Bears did one thing this offseason really, really well. And that is they went out and they got 2 linebackers that are really good in coverage. And they have a pretty good nickel corner in Kyler Gordon. So a rookie tight end, first game against good coverage linebackers is a tough matchup. I'm going to go with Muth here. Like you said, we know he's good. Again, not a great matchup, but at least, I mean, this is a guy going in his 3rd year. If we thought he was good in his first 2, this is normally where tight ends take a jump, right? So
absolutely,
that's where I'm going early on in the season. And I'm excited to see these new Bears linebackers. Maybe we can stop the run or at least not give up 250 yards a game.
Go Bears. Don't say that often, but go Bears.
I like it. Alex says, thanks, guys. I got one more for you. Brandon Cooks or Mike Williams? I never really trust Mike Williams, but I always seem to draft him. For me, this one's easily Mike Williams. We talked about this quite a bit last night. The Miami Chargers game could just be a complete shootout. There's a 50-plus over-under on it. And he's got a better quarterback, and he's got, the new offensive coordinator. I'm taking Mike Williams here. Quentin Johnston ain't taking stuff from him. Mike Williams. Pretty easy for me. Bryce?
Yeah, I'm taking Mike Williams as well. I could see this answer being Brandon Cooks eventually, but I'm not going to do it right away until I see what his role is in that offense as well. I tuned in for like 3 minutes yesterday on your thing because I wasn't able to, and that literally the only part I tuned in was you guys talking about this question. So I agree. Sully?
Better receiver, better quarterback, better offense, better everything. It's Mike Williams. It's not close for me. And I don't even really like Mike Williams that much, but it's Williams by a mile.
I don't know. I don't know how much better of a receiver Mike Williams is than Brandon.
Yeah, maybe
Cooks.
right now for sure.
Brandon Cooks
sure.
is
well, yeah,
perennial.
but career-wise, Brandon Cooks right now for what we're looking at.
I just think he Brandon Cooks kind of like a sleepy. He could be a sleepy, like really, really good player this year. Just he's got to go against the number 2 corner, which he's never had to do in his entire career. So
arguably, he did in LA for a while. He probably did, but he's probably arguably one of the most underrated wide receivers that I can remember.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I like Michael Gallup in Dallas too. Coming back a year removed from that injury. Joe Lindsay says 1 PPR flex spot. We got London, Kenneth Walker, Deontay Johnson, Dotson. We need to pick one out of this group. Sully, why don't you start us off on this one?
I'm really interested in that Washington game this week, and I'm crazy interested to see how Sam Howell's going to do. If McLaurin can go and do a regular thing, but Dotson's just electric. And if Deontay didn't have the Niners matchup, I'd probably lean that way. But I'm going with Dotson here. I think this kid's going to blow up this year. What are you doing, Rick?
I'm going Deontay. I think I have him as my wide receiver 18. I've got London right in that top 24, right 21 to 23, I think. So it would come down to those two for me. Again, Kenneth Walker, obviously we've had some of the injuries in the offseason. He would be a guy that I would want to throw in there, but I am worried about Zach Charbonnet. I think Zach Charbonnet is really, really good, and I think he might be involved early, but we don't know, right? Gibbs looked way better than Montgomery. We talked about this last night too, but only got 9 touches. So we don't know about the rookie running backs, but I'm going Deontay. I mean, he's probably going to get 10 targets in this game, especially if San Fran's offense is moving the ball at all and scoring some points. So I'm going Deontay. What about you, Bryce?
I don't think we're going to be much help to Joe Lindsay here because I think I'd go Drake London. I mean, the matchup is good for him as well.
Yep.
I know I don't invest a lot into preseason, but when I see the ones out there and I see a guy that didn't get much playing time last year and Desmond Ridder, I like to watch. And just like last year in the small amount of playing time he did get, he targeted London quite a bit, even with Kyle Pitts out there. So I really just see London also getting 10 plus targets, even in that strong, like a heavy run game offense. But to help out, I guess my number 2, I think I would go Jahan Dotson as the number 2 option, barely above Deontay Johnson. It's really close for those 3 for me. Honestly, I don't think you can go wrong either way.
Yeah, London as a rookie started off right away with a 25% target share. Like he definitely gets targets. Are they going to throw more than 18 times in a game, though? That's my big question.
His production went up significantly, too, with Ridder.
It did, but then Pitts was also not there. So you kind of have to read the tea leaves. But I do, to Rick's point, did they throw it 35, 40 times? No. Do they throw it more than they did? Yes.
I just don't know how much longer. This is the last year. This is his year to prove it. If not, this jersey's going in hiding.
Mr. Bakesalot says, good morning, homies. Flex, Dobbs, or Kittle? I mean, this is easily Kittle for me. Dobbs, as Bryce said, looks like he's going to play, but on a snap count, I'm just Bears secondary. The one thing that's strong in their defense is their secondary. We know we don't have to worry about that. I'm not going to take that shot if he's on a snap share. What about you guys?
Yeah, Dobbs, and that is according to Rap Sheet. He is on a snap count. Anytime I hear that, I'm going almost always. I'm going the other player in that situation with George Kittle being it. I feel comfortable. Sully?
If it's PPR, I might still go Dobbs just because I don't think there's going to be a ton of offense in that Pittsburgh-San Francisco game. Kittle's been banged up all the way through camp and was questionable coming into this one as well. So how much is he going to play? But right now, just on the surface, it is George Kittle for me, but it's a lot closer than it normally would be in this situation for me.
Joe says, is Mark Andrews out? I don't think he's ruled out yet, but it looks like he's going to be out. Like it's fairly certain that he's not going to play. Isaiah likely.
Well, unlikely for him, but likely for likely.
Wow.
Look at this.
You're just nailing those dad jokes now. Hey, that's a good job, buddy.
Well Alex says, thank you guys. Have a good one. Good luck in your matchup. Same to you, buddy. We appreciate it. More than likely, Joe.
Well done.
Steven says, hey, all, good morning. Start Breece Hall or Deion Jackson. Half PPR. We do know Zach Moss is out for the Colts. I still don't know what this backfield's going to be. Where are you going, Sully?
So I've been reading the New York Jets tea leaves all offseason, and I'm adamant to stay away from Breece Hall as much as I possibly can. I think he's going to be sheltered by that offense and by that team almost all season long. That said, I'm not starting Deion Jackson over him. I just think that both these guys, even if Breece gets 8 to 10 touches, which I think he does, he probably does more with it than Deion Jackson does. Evan Hull's probably going to catch some passes out of that backfield, if there's any passes out of that backfield, because Anthony Richardson, when it comes time to check down, probably just takes off instead of throws the football. So now we're just Deion Jackson, the runner, which is nothing special at all, in an offense that's not that good with an offensive line that's terrible. So I'll take Breece Hall. Bryce?
Yeah, this one. I'm gonna go Breece Hall for all the reasons you just said. I just don't know how efficient Deion Jackson will be in the run game when they get in the red zone and there's a running back in the backfield. I have more confidence that Breece Hall gets carries than I do Deion Jackson with Anthony Richardson behind center, potentially as a touchdown vulture for any running back that's back there this year. So I'll go Breece Hall, even though I think it'll be limited touches. They both might get the same amount of touches, so I'll go with the better athlete.
Agree.
Yep, I'm in the same boat. I mean, Breece Hall can do on one play what Deion Jackson does in a game. I mean, Breece could break off a 50-yarder, and
he only averaged 6 yards per carry last year.
Do what?
He only averaged 6 yards per carry last year on that terrible team.
And you know, they do have both of them. We'll have to see, but look to maybe have offensive line problems. Quentin Nelson did not look good in the preseason for a guy that was, you know, at one point regarded as one of the best offensive linemen in the game. And then after last year, you just don't know. Maybe they are done. So I'm going Breece Hall as well. He can do stuff that most running backs in the league can't do. So if I'm going to take somebody on limited touches, I'm going to take that guy. I drafted Dawson Knox without realizing Buffalo drafted a first-round tight end. Should I play him or pick up Okonkwo, Dulcich, Hayden Hurst, or Jake Ferguson? I'm going to say here in week 1, I'm going to go Hayden Hurst with Carolina, rookie quarterback, wide receivers that are not healthy. But I like Jake Ferguson season long. I think he is going to break out this year. He's one of my favorite stashes. And then Okonkwo. The one that I don't know is Dulcich. We got Sean Payton in Denver. A lot of talk about Adam Troutman running as the tight end 1. That's a guy that Sean Payton got in New Orleans. So if he likes him, he likes him. Whether you like Dulcich or not, that's just the truth of the matter. So I'm starting Hayden Hurst this week. I think there's a lot of targets to be had there, and he is a good professional tight end. The other guys all have question marks in my mind. Bryce, where are you going with this?
I would rather have pretty much all these tight ends than Dawson Knox on my roster, just for the record. But I think
100.
Yeah, he's just not. I've even told people I just don't think he's very good. Just in a good situation, so they're going to use that first round tight end. They didn't invest that, but I'm going to go with it's between Hayden Hurst and Okonkwo for me. I'm going to go with Hayden Hurst barely here. Okonkwo is obviously a way better athlete, has the big playability. But I think I'm going to go Hayden Hurst based on volume. The Titans have both wide receivers healthy with Trey Burks and DeAndre Hopkins. So I just, again, run heavy offense. I just don't know how many targets Okonkwo will get, when I'm more confident Hayden Hurst will get more. So, Sully.
Yeah, I like Chig, but the problem for Chig is not only is there 2 wide receivers that are healthy, it looks like they got 2 pretty good running backs too. So now the touches are really depleted in that offense, and they don't really want to throw the ball anyway. So that eliminates him. Dulcich, Sean Payton likes Adam Troutman. Whenever a guy comes from one team and brings a guy from that team, probably likes that guy. I do like Hayden Hurst this week, and
Child abuse.
There we go.
Child abuse.
Look over here.
This is the first time I've seen that sweet little girl looks not that great. But anyway, gosh, how do you do that? Like, that is child abuse. But I do agree with Rick. I like Jake Ferguson season long. I think the guy's got he's in a really good situation. So
she's smiling because she saw the Bears jersey. She knows his fields.
Like, Mom was behind trying to get her to smile. She's happy, always happy in the morning.
Why don't you give that beautiful girl to Mama to change her and put something decent on?
They said you have to change her.
Yeah, not the diaper, just the
the diaper's fine. The whole thing's a diaper.
Yeah, it's like
she's awesome, man.
Yeah,
she's awesome.
Thank you.
But yeah, Hurst this week, Ferguson season long. Agree with Rick.
Can I trust Likely in today's game? There's also Juwan Johnson on the waivers that I can pick up and start over him, full PPR. Sully, why don't you go, just bring it right back and
I'm just looking to see who the Saints play. Not that
the Saints
it really
play the Titans.
All right. So I think Juwan Johnson's the guy here. I would let Likely go for Juwan Johnson because I think Juwan Johnson actually has appeal this week and season long. I think this guy could be a very quiet top 12 tight end on the season. Derek Carr likes to target the tight ends. He's proven that throughout his entire career. And I think it's an advantageous situation against Tennessee. I don't think they do a whole lot of anything really that well. So that's where I'm going. How about you, Bryce?
I think if Likely's playing and Mark Andrews is out, I'm going to go with Likely because every time he got the chance last year, he produced pretty well, if I remember correctly. But I do also I really like Juwan Johnson this season as well as like more of a sleeper. So I definitely like him season long unless Mark Andrews is out for the entire year. So I'll go with Likely this week and feel
don't even say shit like that. Don't even say stuff like that. Like why you got to be a dick? Like why would you say that?
Andrews was my number one pick, and
I don't want him to. I'm just saying that he's a very good his best backup tight end in the league, probably. So
really quickly, here's what I did in one of my guillotine leagues this year because I thought I was sneaky and smarter than everybody. Took Kelsey with the 102, followed it up with Josh Allen, and then coming around to the third round, I'm like, I'm going to lock down tight end. Took Mark Andrews. How do I look this week?
Well, you got one starter in the first 3 rounds.
See you later.
Yeah, I'm going Likely. I said it last night. I think if he was the starting tight end for a team that utilized him, obviously you don't want to look at like Atlanta as an example because they don't even use Kyle Pitts, but I think Likely would be a potential top 8 tight end if he was a team's primary tight end, and so if he's starting today, he's in for me, and I'm just running with it. Luckily, in other spots where I have Mark Andrews, I also have Likely. But yeah, I like Likely a lot.
It's interesting though because that offense has totally changed too, right? So they actually have wide receivers who can theoretically catch the football too. So it's gonna be interesting to see how Baltimore plays out with and without Mark Andrews.
True that. All right. See, Mr. Bake-A-Lots, we talk about this a lot on Sunday mornings where we get all these questions with studs in them.
Yeah,
then we get those deep roster. We got Osborne, we got Jaden Reed, and Rondale Moore. Bryce, who you starting out of the 3?
This is a little tough for me, but Sully, real quick, let me ask you a question. Is Jordan Addison the number 2? Like, is he going to be that guy for them, or is Osborne going to be that guy and then Jordan Addison got to work past him?
It's one of those situations. It's one of those situations where Osborne will probably start today, but Addison is going to be, and he's going to be the number 3 probably, right? Because Hawkinson's probably the number 2 target in the offense, but it'll be Jefferson, Hawkinson, Addison, Osborne in that sort of range. So I don't think anybody really knows yet, but he won't start, but he in essence will.
Right. So I'll with that information, I'll probably go with Jaden Reed. I just think there's going to be more targets for him than there is Osborne in today's matchup. I'm just really not big on Rondale Moore. I think he's more of a gadget player that has, the ability for the big play and things like that. But when it comes to a wide receiver, I'll take the big body Jaden Reed and with both wide receivers either out or on a snap count. So with Sully, who are you going with?
I'm probably going to go the same way just because of the situation in Green Bay. I'm a little bit cautious due to what Rick was talking about earlier. When you talk about the tight end, Reed playing in the slots, probably a similar type of defensive situation. KJ has to score to be the answer here, and I'm not sure he does. So I'll go with Jaden Reed. I don't like it, but that's what I would do. Rick?
I'm in between Osborne. Reed just feels like the Rashee Rice, Sky Moore play to me this week. Like,
it's not a bad point.
Looks like the opportunity's there, but you've got questions at quarterback. Is he going to be any good? You've got a tough secondary. We've seen Rondale Moore have big games. I guess if I'm going upside, I'm going him, and if I'm going safe, I'm going Osborne.
Interesting.
I mean, Arizona's going to have to throw the ball, right? They are going to be probably down quite a bit.
Yeah.
Should be targets there.
Yeah, it's not
tough, but that's that. Those are those back end of the roster questions we've got. Who should I start in PPR? James Conner, Alexander Madison. This is another reason for Osborne is I think they're going to have to throw more because I don't think they're going to run as much because I don't think Alexander Madison's all that good. Or Miles Sanders. So one of these three, who we starting, Sully?
I'm probably starting Madison simply because I'm a homer and because I think they have the best offense. The other thing with Minnesota throwing the ball more is the defense still isn't good. So the Bucks could easily score points today. It wouldn't surprise me at all if this was a pretty big shootout game. But Alexander Madison is decent, and I don't think he's not Dalvin Cook. He's not even going to be close to Dalvin Cook, and Ty Chandler's going to mix in. So I just don't see James Conner getting enough good opportunities, like between the 20s and catching passes. Actually, I'm changing my mind. Conner probably catches 6 to 8 balls this week. So I'm going James Conner because he's probably going to PPR score more points. Alexander Madison might score the touchdown here. Miles Sanders, I don't know what to make of that offense, especially with a rookie quarterback. So I'll go James Conner in a really, really flipped my answer, long-winded answer.
Bryce, where you at?
I was going to say James Conner because he's going to catch probably 6 to 8 balls today, maybe every week.
Until he gets hurt.
Yeah, and Carolina paid Miles Sanders, so he's going to get a lot of touches. So it'd go Conner, Sanders, Madison for me rather easily. But I really like James Conner this year, especially in contender situations and or redraft formats. He just might be a PPR monster. Rick,
Tampa Bay should still be pretty tough against the run too. I'm going James Conner. I talked about it last night. Dump off. Like there's going to be a ton of that, especially in this matchup. So I'm going with Conner.
Josh Dobbs.
Dobbs.
Is he starting? Okay.
Yep.
God, that team's terrible.
Yes.
Do they trade Kyler? Think in the middle of the season or
no? It won't happen until after the season.
I think so.
Vikings quarterback next year, Kyler Murray.
It could be. I think Miami could be a spot if Tua doesn't lead them to at least a playoff. If you got to lead them to a playoff. Rams would be good too. I'd take if Mac Jones sucks, Patriots could be a spot.
If McVay is still around, if McVay is sticking around, if he doesn't retire or go to the booth after this year, I think that Kyler is the type of guy that he would want to go out and get if Matt Stafford's done.
Do they finally have a first round pick?
And I'm just going to say, I think you have about 3 or 4 teams that could race to the bottom here, and I wouldn't exclude the Rams from finishing last because they're terrible. They're not Arizona terrible, but if they could somehow split or lose those to Arizona, then they're really looking good. Tampa's another team that's doing that.
How much better do you look if you can take Marvin Harrison Jr. in the draft and find a way to get Kyler? Because the one thing I talked about last night is with his contract, he might not be much more expensive than Lance was for the Dallas Cowboys, right? Because if Arizona's really going to get Caleb Williams, everybody's going to know it because they've got the number 1 pick, and they're not going to just bail them out, but they're just going to want to get that contract off their books. So that's kind of, if you could go and get Kyler and Marvin Harrison in the draft, that would be a huge turnaround in your offense. For whoever it is, if they're at the top and they can, trade a third for Kyler Murray, take on his contract.
Right.
Especially Arizona, who also has Houston's pick that should be probably top 10.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Arizona could have a lot of fun next year. I would keep an eye on Hall's status. Came off the questionable tag, only to go back on it yesterday. Maybe he will sit to make it a game if the Cook brothers fans love family rivalry.
I saw a report yesterday that Breece Hall's questionable but expected to play.
Yeah, Dalvin's listed as the starter, and they said they're going to ease Breece Hall back into it as well. So
all season long.
All right, Sully, who you taking, Komet or Likely?
I will take Komet.
Bryce?
Likely.
I'm going Likely as well. Drake London or Dalvin? Sully.
This one hurts my heart. I like them both a lot. I think Dalvin has a more consistent. I don't like that Buffalo route, but I'll go with Dalvin. I just think he has a more reasonable path to consistent ball in hands opportunities. So I'll go with Dalvin Cook.
I will go Drake London.
Yeah, I don't think there's a wrong answer there.
It's relatively close for me. I just want to see what this how much is Breece going to be involved week 1? Like, is it going to be like Dalvin gets 12 touches, Breece gets like 8, and Drake London might get 10 targets. So I'll take the 10 targets over 12 touches. So
yeah, this one is tough. This is a good one.
It is a good one.
I'll take the 12 touches because the 10 targets, 6 might be not catchable. So that's why.
Even then, what is it? What is it, Rick? It's 6. It's every catch is worth what, 2.5 carries?
Every target is worth like 2.5 carries.
Yeah. So the math.
Don't forget that running back's going to get those targets as well.
He might get a couple for sure.
If you're talking 12 targets, I mean, even the worst quarterbacks in the league are going to get you 6 catches out of those 12 targets. So
it's true.
I am going to go Dalvin here, I think.
Don't
love it. I like both of these guys, but that one's tough, Austin. That one is tough. We got 2 for Dalvin, 1 for London. We got 2 for Likely, 1 for Komet on that. Just so everybody knows, we do go in order. We got the chat up here. We go in order answering the questions. The only way to get your question answered right away is to drop that super chat. You move ahead of the line. That's cute, baby. Glad she got her mom's looks. Mr. Bakes.
Amen. Thanks a lot. Amen.
At least the baby's not a front runner fan, born into post Brady pass.
True.
Right.
Born into misery.
Poor girl has no hope.
Not yet.
Lex says, "Hey, Lex, I gotta plant a tree for Lex here. Guys, appreciate y'all. We appreciate you. No joke. Matt here says, happy week 1, 12 team, 1.5 PPR. Holy hell. Wide receiver 3 slot. I love it too. Wide receiver 3 slot. Should I start Michael Thomas, Brandon Cooks, or Gabe Davis? Thanks in advance. Everybody's going to know who I'm picking if you've paid any attention at all. But Bryce, who you going with here?
I think we're on the same page. I'm going to go with Michael Thomas here. I mean, if he's healthy and going, I'm putting him in there. Again, I don't really look too much into preseason, but Michael Thomas was out there and he was catching. They were slants mostly, but he was catching them, and he looked good. So if he's playing in the preseason, he's playing in the regular season. So Michael Thomas actually kind of easily here for me. Sully?
The older you get, the more of a conspiracy theorist you become. Take my word for it. And I believe Michael Thomas hates Sean Payton quite significantly. He's gone. Michael Thomas is back. Michael Thomas is going to have a stellar season this year. I feel it. I do like Gabe Davis healthy on a good ankle, but I am easily starting Michael Thomas here. And the 1.5 point PPR kicker blows it away because targets and reception wise, Michael Thomas should dust these two. So for me, it's easily Thomas.
Same. I love Michael Thomas. I think I don't have him ranked in the top 12 right now. I think I had him ranked at wide receiver 24 on my week 1 rankings. But obviously we got to see it because he's missed so much time over the past couple of years. But I mean, if this guy's back and he looks like he did last year and he stays healthy, this is a top 12 receiver. Just point blank. He's that good.
I don't know about
start
that.
him up when he's healthy.
Good.
I mean, he averaged like 20 points a week last year in the 3 games he played with Dookie QB play. Derek Carr's an upgrade. There's no Kamara there for 3 weeks. Olave is actually probably a good thing for Michael Thomas because they're taking attention off of each other. So there's I think that offense could actually surprise some people this year.
I think so too. I just think there's 12 better options at wide receiver than him. That's all.
I don't know. The fun thing about all of this is it will play out and we will know.
That's exactly right.
4 PP or need 3.
He asked it again 2 questions down, but it's written out all perfectly. if you wanted to click on that one instead.
All right. Remember, we got to go back to Lex Plant. His is next.
Okay.
Up there. Hey, fellas, I need 3 out of these for PPR. Cam Akers, James Cook, Miles Sanders, Aaron Jones. Thank you. Sorry if I repeated this twice. Accident. Have a great Sunday and good luck. You're all good, Mark. We appreciate you. For me, it's Akers, Miles Sanders, and Aaron Jones. And it's pretty easy. I'm not putting in James Cook until I see some stuff. But I love Akers. I think he's going to be huge this year. Somebody just posted he averaged like 17 points per game without Cooper Kupp last year. So I'm going to Akers, Miles Sanders, Aaron Jones. Sully, I see you nodding. Are you agreeing with me, or are you putting James Cook in there?
No, I'm not. But I don't buy into the Cam Akers narrative that everybody else does. But that being said, he looks like a running back that they hate. So they might just run him into the dirt. And that's a good thing for fantasy football. So it's between Cook and Sanders for me, just based on situation. But I'll agree with you. For this week, I'm going to go Akers, Sanders, Jones.
Bryce.
She agrees.
I thought she did.
Yeah. I'm going the same. I do like James Cook this season, but I got to get some clarity when I really have more clarity on how much I love Akers this year. Been buying them everywhere. Probably one of my most owned players. Akers
came in jacked too.
Yeah, he came in slim. It came in a little bit slimmer, but like put on more muscle. Yeah. When it comes to body fat, at least. And then, they paid Sanders. They're going to use him. Chuba Hubbard's okay, good backup, but Sanders is going to get most of the looks at running back. And Aaron Jones could be a potential PPR monster, especially with not many other options to throw to today. So pretty easily those 3 for me this week as well.
Yeah, I want to see if Miles Sanders really catches more passes. That was one thing that he said he wanted to do. I think he can. He hasn't been bad at it. It's just Philly, their running back stuff. All right, we going Juwan Johnson or Tyler Conklin and as Andrew's replacement.
You got to go back up to Lex.
Oh, yeah, we will.
No
we
problem.
will. We'll do this
Okay.
when Caden gets a little bonus jump here real quick.
He needs it. He's a Colts fan. Give him something to be happy about.
True.
Mm-hmm.
If you're here in Indiana, I'm sorry for you, buddy.
Juwan Johnson by a full height tight end length.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
I don't think it's that big. Tyler Conklin was a pretty consistent tight end last year with way worse quarterback play. But I do think
you're right.
Juwan Johnson's got more upside though. And we know
Juwan Johnson was pretty good last year with bad quarterback play too.
Do what?
He was pretty good last year with bad quarterback play as well. Juwan Johnson.
I would dig into the metrics of Andy Dalton compared to Derek Carr, and Carr's not as much of an upgrade as people think he is. So Dalton quietly had quite a nice season last year. So just take that into consideration.
You mean Hall of Famer Andy Dalton, according to, was that Miles Sanders that said that?
That's just crazy talk.
Yeah.
That's a Joe Kidder kind of comment. So
Bateman, Judy, or Charbonnet in PPR this week.
Is Judy playing?
If Judy
That's what I'm looking up right now.
If Judy plays, he's still questionable. We probably won't know until.
As of 3 hours ago, according to NBC Sports, the Broncos are expected to be without Jerry Jeudy today.
Okay, well, if Judy plays, it's Judy for me. If not, it's Charbonnet.
So if Judy is that close to being a game time decision, I'm going to lean towards not starting him. Clearly, if he's out, it's easy. Bateman's an interesting one for me because, again, I don't know what that offense looks like. I think he's the number 1 wide receiver in that offense. I think he is. I don't know. But I'm one of those guys that thinks Zach Charbonnet's a better running back than Kenneth Walker, and I think he's going to get the touches where they matter more than Kenneth Walker. I think he gets the receptions, and I think he gets the goal line work. So to me, this is Charbonnet slightly over Bateman. And again, if Judy goes, maybe it's Judy. But I'd go Charbonnet here. Bryce?
Yeah, it easily, or not easily, but it would be Judy for me if he was playing. But it's Charbonnet. Rashad Bateman might be the 4th best option on that team to get catches this week with with likely Odell
I
and
think
Zay
Zay Flowers
Flowers.
is their number
I think
one.
Zay Flowers is going to be the real deal.
Okay, I'll
And
give
I
you Zay
think-
Flowers, but I don't think I can
Obi-
put Odell over Bateman
I think
now.
Odell's over him if he's healthy. Again,
Healthy,
he's Michael Thomas right? Like he's gonna perform when he's on the field, at least from what we've seen, right? He's getting older, so that can drop off at any point. And that goes for either of them, Michael Thomas or OBJ. But Bateman he hasn't really even performed when he was the option.
Just a big playability. Like he's just not a volume guy either.
It's
Zay
hard.
Flowers might be that volume guy.
Zay Flowers, I think, is going to be really good.
Yeah.
Bateman had a stretch. I don't think maybe it was his rookie season when he finally got on this field halfway through it. Had a stretch where he did okay. But yeah, you can't score points if you're on the sidelines. So Bateman, the only thing I'll say about Bateman is the only one in that offense that his quarterback is familiar with. But I don't know if that matters anymore after all OTAs and preseason and all that other stuff. So I'm very interested to see how that offense plays out.
I think I've loved what I've seen, how excited they were for Flowers when he announced his when they asked what his signing bonus was. Did you guys see that video?
Yeah, 9 million or something.
Like, oh yeah. I mean, I think they love Zay Flowers there. I think he's going to be the number one and be pretty dynamic. I like it. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, or Mike Williams. For me, it's Mike Williams in that shootout with the Dolphins, and I do not trust Baker Mayfield to do anything. Sully?
Minnesota's not good. Baker Mayfield's pretty good in the middle of the field. Chris Godwin eats in the middle of the field. But I'm taking Mike Williams in that matchup because I think Mike Williams has the ability to score a couple of times and go over 100 yards on like 4 catches. So that's why I'm going to go Mike Williams. Bryce?
I'll chalk this one up to the easy cop-out and do ceiling versus safer play. And if I'm going safer, I'm probably going to go Chris Godwin. And if I really need some points, I'm going to go with Mike Williams.
I can get on board with that, too. I think Chris Godwin is safe, but
all three of these are good options, though. I mean, I feel comfortable with any of them, honestly.
I just see more upside with the Chargers offense than I do with Tampa Bay's offense, even if they play against the shitty Vikings.
Yeah, you don't see it. It's a fact.
Wow, that's a little harsh.
I'm just going off it. Coming from you, you have been.
I said they weren't very good. I didn't say they were shitty.
Well, if you say they're not very good, what does a Bears fan say? I mean, if I say the Bears aren't very good, what are you going to say?
I'd agree. If you're a fan and you're saying they're not good, that means they're probably shitty.
Wow. You don't have to be. Yeah, but you don't have to be harsh. Okay, we did this one, right?
Even if it's against the bad Vikings.
Yeah.
There you go.
That one.
It's not like it's the Packers. Like
we already did that.
Save your harsh comments for Green Bay.
Now we're back.
Marco, good afternoon.
Marco, welcome back.
Marco was in here last night. He had all the jokes last night. It was great.
Nice. Last night was like yesterday morning, though, wasn't it? Isn't Marco across the pond?
Well, maybe for him, last night feels like right now to me.
Yeah.
I did not sleep very much. Happy football day. PPR need 1, Brian Robinson, Mostert, or Akers. Everybody knows where I'm going here. I'm going Akers.
Yeah. I think we're probably on the same field of Akers. He's, like I said, he's probably my most owned player. And I think I might have him in like 8 of my 12 leagues. So it's easily Akers for me. And honestly, I like Mostert a lot this week as well. I think Jeff Wilson might not be playing.
A-Chain's inactive as well.
Oh, yeah, he's on IR, correct. And there's really no one else to give the ball to.
It just popped up about half an hour ago. I tried to find a spot to jump in.
Salvin Ahmed's a sleeper this week.
Nice little DFS play for sure.
Yeah, he's produced.
Wait, Salvin, isn't he on a different team now?
No.
Or is he?
Not that I know.
Okay.
He had a big game in preseason. He had like
and
8 yards on 5 attempts.
And I believe Gaskin is back in Miami, so he might actually get activated today. Because the Vikings cut him, and I think the Miami put him on their practice roster. While you're looking that up, I'll just be the difference guy here, and I'll take Brian Robinson here. I think he smashes against Arizona today. I think Seattle's decent enough to contain Akers and that Rams offense. Mostert would be my number 2 here. I would probably go Akers 3.
Well, I got to know before we
Yeah.
have a lot of questions to get to, but I got to know why you hate Akers so much. This is a guy
I just don't think he's that good.
Second half of last season, he was RB4 in all of football.
How about the first half?
And he's a focal part.
Well,
Hey, everybody started slow.
Well,
and
no,
he
but
didn't-
if you're
he
going to
wasn't
use
even on
a
the field.
if you want to use a half a season, but why wasn't he on the field? He was healthy. If you want to use a half a season as a reference, so will I. I just don't think
the most recent half season.
Sure,
though.
I think he's behind a lackluster offensive line in an offense that's not that good, that has minimal weapons. Stack the box against them. What does Stafford do? He goes to Higbee and to who? So I just think Akers is up against it, and I think Kyron Williams has been said to be involved more and more and more in the passing game all through camp. So Akers doesn't catch passes as much as he should, and we want him to. He doesn't. So now he's a running back, pure and simple, and I think he's going to struggle. I just don't think he's as good as everybody thinks he is. That's all.
He got angry there.
No, I got to the point, brother. Hey, you got your notebook, Bryce? Because I'll take Brian Robinson over. I'll take Brian Robinson over Cam Akers for the first.
Why are we doing bets if we ain't gonna pay?
Well, that's rude. I didn't get the final statement. I didn't get an invoice.
Yeah, I know.
It's shared with you. It's shared with both of you.
Oh.
Don't be blaming me. Oh shoot!
Holy, get it together. What's going on over there?
It's a speaker.
Hey,
you guys have that file.
Okay, I will look at the file. I will settle up, and if my credit is still good here, I will take Brian Robinson.
I'll take Akers over Brian Robinson.
I'll also take Akers.
And so will Bryce piggyback. I like this one too. I'm gonna start Watson, but I really want to say Hal.
Watson for me as well.
Yeah, it's Watson for me.
Ooh, this one's juicy. We got in-division rivals. We playing Daniel Jones or Dak Prescott?
I need to see how I ranked it this week. It's
Bryce,
probably Dak.
So do I. Hey, if you're doing rankings, why don't you put them on the website?
Well, I didn't know you were doing weekly rankings until I saw it. So yeah, hook me up and they'll be there.
I will.
Who do the Giants have this week?
I don't
Cowboys.
care. I'm
They play each
Daniel
other.
Jones.
This is the Sunday nighter, Bryce. They play each other.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's tonight.
I just
I'll take
looked.
that little bit of Daniel Jones rushing upside here. Dak has better weapons, clearly.
Yeah.
Especially if Waller doesn't play, then
Waller's expected to play
a little bit. But
that's another tight end that's killing me this week.
He's expected to play. He's expected to play today. I'll go with Dak Prescott. I think if one thing the Cowboys will be good at is to hinder Daniel Jones's run game. They have pretty good guys on the edge to hopefully track him down. So I think Micah Parsons is going to be on a beeline for Daniel Jones the whole game. I don't think anybody can really stop
I'll
him.
double check this. I want to see what he did against Dallas last year. That'll give us a better idea here.
I think he's struggled off the top of my head. That said, I have Daniel Jones ranked 11th this week and Dak 15th, so that's my answer.
Why is it?
Lonesome.
What the hell is going on here? Oh, it flipped over to 2023. Let's look here. Daniel, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I could pull it up on Sleeper and tell you how many points.
I think Daniel Jones, while you guys are both trying to figure out the internet, Daniel Jones has options that he just did not have a year ago, right? So Darren Waller is a big option. Way better receiving core than he had last year. He had a bunch of bartenders and bouncers as his wide receivers. So I think with his legs, with Dallas's apparent interest in running the ball more, I think Daniel Jones, not by a lot, but I would take Daniel Jones.
He played
season-long
Dallas.
candidacy.
He played Dallas week 5. He missed the second game against Dallas.
Oh,
He scored 4.8 points.
yeah, I knew he didn't do well.
Week 5. They played Dallas week 3 and week.
Am I looking
12.
at the wrong year? Oh, I'm
Yeah.
looking at 2021.
Yeah, so week three, he was QB 17 with 25.2 points.
Wait,
and then
you are not QB 17 with 25.32 points, buddy.
he must
Yeah,
have been.
hell of a quarterback
No,
week.
he had 14.7 in week 3.
Oh, no, I might be in the wrong.
Dallas.
Oh, yeah, this league's got different scoring settings. Oops.
14.3.
QB 17.
You guys are killing it. This is like cutting edge, hardcore, digging deep numbers.
Are you done? 14.3 or 14.7 in week 3, 14.5 in week 12.
QB 17 and QB 20, right?
I'm switching to Dak. I'm going Dak.
QB 17 and QB 20, correct?
Oh yeah, I don't care about those numbers. I care about the fantasy points he puts up. But
right.
I think it's actually he's struggled throughout his career against Dallas, but I'll still
he only had 4.8 the one before that. The one
right,
and Dallas's defense might be one of the best this year. It should be one of the best this year. So
I do like him season long though. Bateman or Rachaad White? I'm going Rachaad White here in PPR for sure.
Yeah, this is easy. Rachaad White for me.
Yeah, I'm going to see what Rachaad White's all about. But again, he's got a really good matchup and
I do hope
quarterback that loves to throw to his running back. But you're going to bring up Tucker, and so am I.
I'm hoping he takes over because I really
I did after rookie draft.
I think he could.
Was went and spent all my budget, all my free agent budget on Sean Tucker.
Yep.
Yeah. He's the real deal. I think he's going to have a good year.
I was trying to pick people up this week, and I was like, why do I have $0? We're not even to week 1 yet. And then I had to go back and look, and I was like, oh, I spent it all on Sean Tucker and Ty Chandler. Those were the two guys that I went and swooped up everywhere. Cooks, Dotson, Addison, Dell, or Reed. Listen, Dell's out.
Let's start 3.
Dell's still out for me.
Okay.
I'm going with the first 3, Cooks, Dotson, Addison.
I'm going to agree. Cooks.
I am too, but I'm trying to find a way to get Reed in there, and I can't. So it's the first.
Same.
No love for Dell, or just because of the guys on that list?
Well, I mean, it's part the guys on the list, and then part like I'm not starting in week 1 a preseason wonder. We've seen it too many times where guys do stupid awesome in the preseason versus number 3 defenders, and
fair, but you could be looking
at do anything ever again.
I get it, but you could be
a week late on him than a week early on a bad performance.
Totally agree, but you might be a guy who has Cooper Kupp or Jerry Jeudy or both, and you're trying to plug a hole. That's all. That's the only reason I say that.
Well, no, yeah. I mean, obviously, there's probably situations where people do have to start him, but with that group, I mean, it's last case scenario for me to start him. Hollywood or Thielen. I'm going Hollywood here. Another guy, lots of targets, even with bad quarterback play, should catch half of them. And Thielen's old rookie quarterback. So he's got the same issues. We don't know what their quarterback play is going to be, what their offense is going to be. So I'm going to Hollywood here. When he's on the field, he typically gets a lot of targets and performs pretty admirably. Sully, where you going?
Both are questionable. I think I saw Hollywood's going to play for sure. Thielen, I'm not 100%. They are? Okay. So
I think they're both.
You look at the situation where they're both probably not the greatest offenses, not the greatest quarterbacks, but take the youth and the upside with Hollywood. He could do, like Rick said earlier, you could do more with 1 or 2 touches than Thielen can probably do with 8 or 9. So it's Hollywood.
Yeah, it's Hollywood for me as well. There's really nobody else to throw the ball to.
Okay. Brad's question is next, but we have a super chat down here, all the way down here, that I'm glad I scrolled down so I didn't miss. But Taylor says, I'm impatient. Pittman, Hollywood, or Swift PPR? Bryce, why don't you start us off here? Who are you going with?
I'm not going with Swift until I get some clarity in that backfield after week 1. Even though I do like him this year, but with these 2 other options, I'm going to feel more comfortable putting one of them in, knowing they're going to get more targets. With that being said, I'm going to go with Pittman here. I don't really know who's a better passer in Anthony Richardson or Josh Dobbs, to be honest. I know who's a better athlete, obviously. But their targets should be the same, and I have more confidence that the Colts have more touchdown upside than the Cardinals do. I'm confident every team has more touchdown upside than the Cardinals do. So I'll go with Pittman with that slight edge on that touchdown upside.
Sully.
This one's tough. I'm going to go with Swift just because I think he's got the most chance to score. And it just comes down to that because historically, wide receivers with rookie quarterbacks really don't fare very well. And Hollywood's playing with very questionable quarterback play on a terrible team. So I don't really love Swift, and I do agree with Bryce. I'd like to see what he's going to do in that offense. I have no idea what Philly's going to do with those running backs. That said, I'm still going to go Swift because I think he's going to score, or at least has a much better chance than the other 2.
This is easily Pittman for me. We're talking about a guy that's finished as wide receiver 20 and wide receiver 17 over the past 2 years and somehow dropped to wide receiver 39 in ADP heading into this year when he probably got a QB upgrade when you look at who has started multiple games the past 2 seasons with Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, Sam Ehlinger, and Nick Foles. Not good. At least Richardson can do something that none of those 4 guys can do, and that is get out and make stuff happen, especially if their offensive line plays like it did last year. He can escape. And again, even a bad quarterback is going to complete 50% of his shots. Nobody's taking targets from Michael Pittman. He's going to get a 25, 26% target share and probably 150 targets this year. It's tough. It's not perfect, but I'm going Pittman here. He's most talented, and I don't think any of them are for
She
sure.
hates your take, Rick. She hates it.
Hey, she can hate it, but I'll teach
She
her
hit her
stuff.
hand.
And
She hit her own
listens-
hand.
She probably listens better than Sully does.
No, you
Where
can't.
did
have
okay?
that.
Now I
She's
got
probably
to
smarter.
again.
She's probably smarter than I am.
Brad says, question, who dressed y'all? Ugly outfits all around. Listen,
Your
I'm
mother.
not going to take this shit from a Detroit fan after they get one freaking win. It's like they won the Super Bowl. They're all talking shit now after 100 years of irrelevancy.
Yeah, that makes your Sunday worse now. You don't even get to watch your own team. So suck it, Brad.
You know,
Yeah, Brad.
as bad as Kansas City played, they still should have won that game. That, like, if Kadarius Toney just drops the ball instead of tips it into that guy's hand, that's a win. So
Yeah.
Detroit, sure, they won a game, but they didn't do much to impress me very much. And Kansas City will win that game 9 times out of 10. That was the one time.
I will say,
I don't care what you're wearing.
that Detroit, I think, is going to be pretty good this year. But
They'll be all right. They'll probably win the division.
Brad, I mean, get it in while you can, I guess. Get it in while you can. And it's been building up for decades. So
Yeah, the guy, his whole damn life. Like,
I remember 2016 as a Cubs fan. I was talking all kinds of shit. And, you know, what are you going to do? Ash says, who do I drop from my roster to pick up likely? Evan Hull, Devin A. Shane, Gainwell, Bateman, Marvin Mims Jr. Here would be my question, Ash, and I hate, and this is the bad part about these Q&As, is that, you know, your stuff gets lost in the feed till we get to it. But if you have another tight end that you can start this week, I think I would keep all these guys, and because likely is only good when Andrews is out, right? You're never starting him when Andrews is in. We need to see what Indy does with the running backs. A-Chain's going to be involved when he's healthy. Gainwell may be the number 1 running back in Philly. People don't want to admit it, but he may be. Bateman and Marvin Mims would be the 2 that I would consider dropping here. If you really need a tight end, I'd probably go with Marvin Mims Jr., the rookie. But he may be the number 2, but Judy should be back next week, I would expect, if he's still questionable this week. So that would be where I lean on it. I don't know what points you got to make there, Bryce, but go ahead and make it.
If this is any sort of dynasty, I would drop any of these guys to honestly have Isaiah Likely on my team. But in a redraft format, I would feel comfortable dropping Rashad Bateman because even if he's probably, if Likely plays 3 weeks out of the year, he's probably going to have more impact on your roster than Rashad Bateman will all year because you're probably not going to be in a situation where you have to start him. And if you are, you're probably in trouble. So I would drop Rashad Bateman pretty easily for Isaiah Likely, and I'd keep him on my bench if Mark Andrews missed any more time. Sully.
Wow. That's a lot to unpack there. I think, to Rick's point, clearly I think Ash needs a tight end here, right? Because if you have another tight end, you just plug that tight end in and you keep all these guys. I think if I have to drop anyone, it's Evan Hull because he's in the worst probably situation of any of these guys. The other one would be A-Chain, but I really like him and I think he's in a good offense. But Gainwell's in a good spot. Bateman's way better than you think he is, and Marvin Mims is in a really good spot. So I think if I'm desperate for honestly, I'd probably just take the loss in week 1 as opposed to dropping any of these guys. I'm not as big a Isaiah Likely fan as most are, mainly because he's second fiddle to Andrews. But I would drop, if I have to do it, I would drop Hall.
If I was going in order, it would be Mims drop, Bateman drop, and then probably Hull after that. I mean, Hull, we got 4 weeks where Evan Hull might end up being the most involved running back in Indy. I want to see that before I drop him. Caden, the Colts fan, says James Cook or Tyler Lockett at flex. This is easily Tyler Lockett for me. Tyler Lockett should be in your lineup on a weekly basis until further notice. Sully, you're shaking your head. You agree with that?
1,000%.
Until further notice could be here soon if Jackson Smith and Jigba can turn it up.
I think DK might be the one that you're thinking about sitting in that situation. I just think Tyler Lockett is too.
Agree again.
He's too secure. He's you know what you're going to get from Tyler Lockett. Where DK Metcalf, as much as I love him and as much as he's got the talent, is up and down. So I think he might be the guy that we're thinking about sitting here. I do think JSN is the best wide receiver, most talented wide receiver on the Seattle team. But again, rookie, it's going to take a little bit of time. But Tyler Lockett for now is a lock in the lineup. Caesar says, hey, in a PPR league, Isaiah Likely with Andrews out or Kincaid. I'm going Isaiah Likely. It's the guy I know. He's performed when the opportunity. Sully?
Yeah, I think you have to, for the fact that it's just a first game for a rookie tight end, which is never easy, and the Jets defense is sick. So I'm going to go with Likely here as well. Bryce?
Yeah, this is likely pretty easy. Sorry, I scared her. There's really no rookies outside of Bijan Robinson that I'm probably feeling too comfortable starting week one. I want to see what their role is prior to me putting them in my lineup. So with that said, Isaiah Likely.
You did not scare her. She saw a Patriots logo on her shirt and shit herself.
Gibbs,
it's like she doesn't know I'm here.
To Bryce's point, I think Gibbs taught us that, right? I think we all had a big thought that Gibbs is going to have a big smash game, and then we saw his first couple of carries and he looked unreal, and he had 9 touches. So
I've been low on Gibbs. I said I really just did not think he'd be utilized as much in the run game, and happened to be right. But with how productive he was on his touches, it's going to be hard not to get him the ball more for sure.
We've seen this. J.K. Dobbins when he came in, we've seen it. Just rookie running backs when they come in, they get eased in. They don't just come in and take over the role unless they're a Bijan, a Saquon,
or there's no other option.
Right.
This game's a lot harder than people think.
Craig said that sounded like a cat. Must have been talking about your daughter at one point. Yeah. We're 20 minutes behind here in the feed. Just so everybody knows, we go in order and we try to answer them as fast as possible. We have a backlog here. We will get to your question, we promise. And if you want to skip the line, not to beg for money, but that's how you do it. That's how you skip the line. Beg. Likely or Njoku. I'm going Njoku here.
Agree.
I think I'm going to go with Likely. This is close for me. But when Likely's on the field, he's just been more consistent than when Njoku is on the field. So,
chat. What am I?
Chig, maybe?
Oh, yeah, it could be Chig.
I'm going Dalton Schultz here, no matter what. For a team that needs somebody to target, I'm going Dalton Schultz here.
I'll go Likely here.
I really like Dalton Schultz this week. I'm going to go with Dalton Schultz. I'll go volume based. I just see Dalton Schultz getting peppered with no one really to throw. Not any great targets to throw to in comparison to the Ravens offense.
All right, we got start 2, Raheem Mostert, Mike Evans, Rashad White, Marquise Brown. We need 2 of the 4. Sully.
Brown and White.
Mostert and White.
I think I'm going with the 2 running backs as well, Mostert and White.
That's where I was going to go, but you guys are
switching.
No,
these are all good options.
Yeah,
except Mike Evans is not a good option. Baker's going to stink even against Minnesota down the field.
He is a wide receiver 1 killer. He has been wide receiver one killer.
Unless he's in the red zone and treats him like Tom Brady, Mike Evans is in. He's going to get traded to KC, but in a couple of weeks anyway.
You need the Mike Evans 3 catch for 3 yard, 3 touchdown game when it comes to Baker, and I just don't
100%.
have confidence that Baker can throw 3 touchdown passes in the next 6 weeks.
Agree.
Half PPR, we have Mostert, Miles Sanders, or Khalil Herbert. Bryce, why don't you start us off on this one?
I will go with Mostert. I really like Mostert this week with nobody else to hand the ball off to. Could be a very high scoring game. Mostert's fine in the pass game. He can take any ball to the house, being one of the fastest guys on the field outside of his own 2 teammates. So I'll go Mostert here as well, or just here, I guess, not as well. That's Sully.
Well, I think it is as well because I think I'll join you. Herbert is incredibly talented, but in a messy situation. Sanders, I don't know what to make of it, and Mostert's got talent and opportunity. So I'll go with talent and opportunity over the other 2. And as long as Mostert can stay on the field, he should have a big day.
Yeah, I'm going with Mostert as well, but Miles Sanders and him are pretty close for me. Again, Miles Sanders is going to get a lot of work. But Mostert is the only guy. I did look and see that it is expected that Salvin Ahmed is the clear backup for him. That was like 20 minutes ago that came out. So I am going with Mostert. Also have Kincaid from earlier question. Would you still start Juwan Johnson over him? I would.
Yep. Same reason I said earlier.
Yeah, me too.
Ryan says Dobbins or Mike Williams in full PPR. Sully.
Oh, I really like J.K. Dobbins, man. Again, I think Mike Williams does a lot of damage on limited amount of touches, but I think J.K. Dobbins could be incredibly legit, not only today, but this season. So I'm going to go with Dobbins. Did you fire Bryce?
Yeah, he has bad takes.
That's fair.
Adel said Dobbins on that one.
I thought we'd give him
I didn't even answer, did I? I'm going Mike Williams again. I love that. I love that game. I want that game as much as possible. I do love Dobbins, but I want to see. I want to see a little bit more of Dobbins coming back a year removed from that injury. I think there's a lot of touchdown upside for Mike Williams this week. Bryce.
Yeah, I'll go with Mike Williams, especially for upside. If you wanted to go a safer option, I could argue Dobbins for you. But even then, his floor is kind of low. So I'll go Mike Williams in most situations here.
This one, I think everybody's going to agree with. We're taking Mostert here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Absolutely. Yep.
DeAndre Hopkins, Drake London, Deontay Johnson, full PPR. I'm worried about Marshawn Lattimore shutting Hopkins down. Bryce, what do you think here?
I'm not worried about anybody really shutting DeAndre Hopkins down unless it's Sauce Gardner or Pat Surtain. I'm going to go with Drake London here. With that being said, they're both run heavy offenses. But I just think that Desmond Ridder really looks to Drake London more than I expect Ryan Tannehill to look to Hopkins. So I'll go Drake London here. These are all 3 pretty close for me though. Solid.
I'm going to go with DeAndre Hopkins. I'm going to take the guy that I trust the most, and I think the guy that sees the most targets. I think he gets peppered, and I do agree Drake London's going to get targeted, but I think Hopkins gets absolutely pounded with the rock. So I'm going with him.
Man, I really need to. Where do I have Hopkins? Yeah, I'm going Deontay. Deontay is my top ranked out of these 3. Again, all these guys targets, right? Targets, bunches of them. But I'm going with Deontay as my number 1 here. And Marco in the future says he was watching till 4 a.m. last night where he's at. That's appreciative. We had an Aussie come in asking us, saying that he loved the show and that he was wondering if we knew Aussie football rules. And I'm like, no. I don't know soccer, and that's actually popular in my area. There's
and it's different from rugby.
Yeah, y'all
see, Marco gets it. Marco
y'all
gets
can
it.
Sleep on them. That's cool. I like making money if I get paid for it. Start Dotson or Pittman. Bryce.
I'm gonna go Dotson this week. I really think that he's gonna have a really big week. I know you like Pittman and you think that Anthony Richardson's a quarterback upgrade. I don't know if it is when it comes to volume because Matt Ryan really looked to Pittman a lot when he was under center. Yeah, and I just don't know how much Richardson will look to him. A
lot.
It might be, but even then, I don't know if I would say that Anthony Richardson's a better passer than Matt Ryan. He's inconsistent.
Did you see Matt Ryan throw last year?
I mean, yeah, but have you seen Anthony Richardson throw already in preseason and in college? He's wildly inconsistent as well.
I'm not talking about inconsistent. I'm talking about like
well, he targeted him a ton. I have more. I want to see how much he gets targeted first. Where I think Dotson might be the better wide receiver, and I think they could see similar amount of targets. So I'll go the edge of Dotson. It's close for me. It's close, but I'll give the edge to Dotson, and I'll be right back because I accepted your invite and I got to join through another.
Cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going Pittman. I'm thinking you're going Dotson
by a mile. Yeah.
By a mile.
I don't think
put it on the
it's not close. Not even close today and season long. Not even close.
I have Pittman wide receiver 21 this week. Dotson wide receiver 35. I don't think it's close. I think it's Pittman. He is the better receiver.
I am 100% taking this bet.
Put it
I just
down.
have to find.
I'm taking Pittman.
I just have to find my rankings here. Hang on.
I will not be in this one because I like both of them pretty equally.
The hype train on Dotson is getting fun too. He is not even the best receiver on his team. McLaurin,
and you do have a
yes, he is. I got to keep scrolling to find where I have Pittman. This might take a while.
That's just a terrible take there, Sully.
It is what it is, brother.
You do have a super chat. You do have a super chat, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
All of a sudden, the quality of my takes matter. Like when did that kick in?
Yeah, it was supposed to start in 2019, but we're still waiting for it.
Hey man, it was 18. Pittman wide receiver 32, Dotson wide receiver 24. Dotson.
I gave you a little leeway though, is where I'm at. That's not even huge. You made it sound like
he was being funny. He was being funny.
It wasn't very funny.
I might move Pittman down.
Canadian humor is something else, I tell you. Okay, we got Mr. Bakes a lot, and then we'll get to Mark. Yours is going to be after the super chat. Oh, actually, we'll skip. Mark says, "Thanks, guys. Everyone, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell as well. We appreciate all of you tuning in. We love talking football with you, and we try to get to these questions as fast as possible. But you guys are relentless this morning. We love it. So Mr. Bakes a lot says, start Ayuk, Lazard, or Sutton if Judy sits full PPR. I'm starting Ayuk. Ayuk's my guy in these three. You guys agree?
Yeah, Lazard's a little banged up too, right? So I like the fully healthy guy, and Ayuk, I think, is the wide receiver this year in that offense. So I agree.
I 100% agree. I think he outproduces Debo.
Mike 32 is up next. Mike 32 is next after the super chat. We got Caden, the Colts fan, hung out with us last night. Appreciate you coming back, Caden. Do I trade Keenan Allen or Debo and Kamara? For Debo and Kamara.
Probably. I love Keenan Allen, but Debo and Kamara combined put up more points than Keenan Allen and his backup, don't they?
I think if you can withstand the 3 weeks without Kamara, this is a trade that you make.
Great point.
I agree. I agree. I really like Keenan Allen as the best player in this for a contender redraft purposes. What your roster looks like would be important because it's like, who are you subbing Kamara in for? Does that combo of him and Keenan Allen outweigh Debo and Kamara? That's what I'd have to kind of assess. But just looking at this in a vacuum, like Sully said, these two combined are scoring more points than Keenan Allen and probably staying more healthy.
Oh, I hope not. Yeah,
I got it for you, Rick.
You got it. All right, I'm going to take a quick break here, and I'll be right back.
All righty.
See you, boss.
All right. Mike 32
finally got rid of him. Jeez.
Mike 32. Yeah, with a 3-hour stream, we're gonna have to take some bathroom breaks and whatnot.
I don't know. How the hell does that guy do red zone for 7 hours straight, man?
I don't know. He's got something under his seat.
Like a urinal in there or something?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a little bit off topic. Keep going.
What probably happens is he gets real far ahead and then he hurries up, uses the restroom, and gets back before the next one. Yeah. CMC, Saquon, Kenneth Walker. Should I try to package one of them to upgrade over CD and Amari? Gonna be hard to upgrade over CD. But I am more than comfortable packaging like Kenneth Walker and Amari Cooper together to try and get a better wide receiver, depending on who, I'm assuming you don't have to start 3 running backs, depending on who your flex option is. I don't really like Kenneth Walker this year or moving forward. I'm glad I steered clear of him. But then again, if you're trying to contend, Amari Cooper might be a sneaky top 5 receiver this year. I mean,
he was top 12 with Jacoby Brissett.
Right. So I mean, so if you are packaging them together, you gotta aim sky high. Go after the chases. At least try. Start from the top down, all the way down to Jefferson, Chase, Garrett Wilson, Tyreek.
All the way down to Jefferson. Jefferson's at the top, bro.
No. I said start at the top, work your way down. So Jefferson, to Chase. Jefferson's at the top. Yeah.
Settle down there. We're gonna get upset.
Yeah. No. I got him and Chase as 1A and 1B.
Yeah.
So that's where I'd start. Work your way down your list. People go, "Oh, that's insulting." Well, then just move on to the next dude. So.
Right, and I think I would just stick with those wide receivers and that trio of running backs. And I totally agree with you on Kenneth Walker. I just think with the scarcity of running backs and what we see year in and year out with that position being injured more so than any other, is your running back 24 entering the season could all of a sudden be a running back 8, right? So. We don't like Kenneth Walker that much, and maybe we're both wrong. But if Charbonnet gets hurt, you gotta like Kenneth Walker, right? Yeah,
then I'd like
right.
Him.
So if he's my 3rd running back behind CMC and Saquon, and I have a top 5 wide receiver and a top 15 wide receiver to pair with them, that's looking pretty good. I think I'm gonna just stick with this and go for it. See what happens, especially in week 1.
Yeah, there's a lot of I'm in a situation where I'm pretty thin at wide receiver. With Cooper Kupp going down, and I'm like, I've got Jamar Chase, and I'm a contender. Do I potentially package to get some depth in my lineup? But I'm like, you know what? Let's wait because I got Jackson Smith and Jigba. Let's see how week 1 goes before I make any major moves like that. So
you got an absolute ton to move Chase.
I would be getting I already got a preemptive Amon-Ra and DJ Moore and some for him. So I was like, well, that's a pretty that's a good start. So.
If you guys ever get a chance to play in a league with Bryce, he makes the best blockbuster deals ever. Him and I made one.
Dude, right away.
Him and I made one right out of the gate. I ended up with Patrick Mahomes and Stephon Diggs, and I traded away a ton as well. It was a beautiful trade. I loved it.
Yeah, I can't even remember what all. I was like, this roster needs some work. Let's get some depth.
I think I traded you DK and Pitts and a first and something else. There was a bunch of shit in there, but it was a good trade.
Deshaun Watson was in there. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep. All right, Thielen, Lazard, or Hodgins, full PPR. Who are you going here?
I want to say Thielen, but I think Lazard might be the answer. I just think that, other than Garrett Wilson, as talented as that Jets offense looks, I think he's the only other real legit pass catcher right now. So I think I'll go with Lazard over the other 2.
Yeah, the Jets, their Jets offense is almost a little bit overhyped. I mean, you got Garrett Wilson, you got the running backs now. Their offensive line, if they can stay healthy, that's been their problem in the past. When they're healthy, they're actually really good. But that's the problem is they don't stay healthy, especially at their tackles. But their pass catchers, I mean, it goes Garrett Wilson, Allen Lazard, Randall Cobb, Tyler Conklin, CJ Uzomah. That's not anything to brag about.
If you watch Hard Knocks, there's a reason those 2 rookies made the team, right? They don't have anybody else.
Right. So with that being said, I'm going with Lazard as well. I see more targets for him, even though Thielen should be the number 1 option for that Panthers offense. But Hodgins is going to be going up against, at worst, Trevon Diggs or Stephon Gilmore. I just don't see him getting open tonight. So I will agree with you on Lazard. Full PPR, I'm assuming, it's got to be Khalil Herbert, Romeo Doubs, or Zay Flowers. And I think we can both agree we're taking out Doubs with the limited snap count today.
Yeah.
down to Herbert or Flowers. I think we're gonna be on the same page here.
I'm going to go with Flowers because I think Khalil Herbert's going to be splitting the bench. I think Roshan Johnson's going to be a hell of a lot more involved in that offense than anyone else. So I'll go with Zay Flowers. I think he can do some yak damage to make it worthwhile.
Okay. I'm going to go with Herbert here, even though if I did say earlier that I don't feel comfortable starting any rookies outside of Bijan Robinson. If I had to pick another one to start, honestly, I love JSN, but the path to targets is way harder than what it would be for Zay Flowers, in my opinion. So Flowers would be the next guy, but I'm still going to lean Khalil Herbert here. I know people are worried about a split backfield, and I do expect them to be involved, but I do think that Khalil Herbert at least gets 60 to 70% of the running back snaps today. And if the Packers defense is bad at anything, it's the run defense, I believe. So I'm going to go with Khalil Herbert, but I would feel fine starting Zay Flowers in there. Anthony Richardson, Lamar, Daniel Jones, super flex. So he's got to start two of them. Which one are you sitting?
I'm sitting a rookie. I just don't know what we got there. And I don't think he's as much of a passer as Rick does for sure. I think Lamar has a good day, and I think Daniel Jones just does enough. But it's between Richardson and Jones for me. But I'm going to go with the rookie on the bench.
Yeah, Lamar's the easy start, obviously. I'm sitting Richardson as well. I don't know about you, but when this draft class came out, I never steered clear of Anthony Richardson was my QB3. I get it that you have all this athletic ability, but my problem is when you have all that athletic ability and all this hype, why did you not produce it in college? Like Lamar produced as a runner in college way more than Richardson did. So I want to see it first. I understand systems, and there's a lot of things that take into place. He was in the SEC and didn't have a lot of pro talent around him. So I want to see him prove it first. So I will also be sitting Richardson out of these three. Rick, who are you sitting out of these three?
I'm sitting Richardson as well.
I thought you might sit Jones.
No, I mean, it's close. I do think Richardson's going to run more. I think it's similar to, Fields at Ohio State, how he didn't run a whole lot, but does in the NFL now. It's going to be a necessity for the Colts to run Richardson to move the ball, especially with Jonathan Taylor out. But I am going to go with the two guys that we know. Lamar when he's healthy and starting, there's maybe two guys that you consider starting over him, maybe three with Hurts, Allen, and Mahomes. So he's for sure in there. And then, I'm going to go Daniel Jones week 1, but by week 2, it could be Anthony Richardson. Excuse me. Half point PPR flex help, D-Hop or DeAndre Swift? Bryce, I think I know where you're going, so we'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm going to go with D-Hop here. Again, I like DeAndre Swift this season, but I just want to know what his role is in that offense. Is he the number one running back, which I think he should be? This answer could be different next week, but I'm going to go with DeAndre Hopkins for right now.
Sully.
Yeah, I know I was on DeAndre Swift in the question earlier, but I am going to be on Hopkins here. I just, for the same reason I wasn't on him on the previous one, I just think he gets peppered with targets, even in a lower volume capacity. I think he's the guy to go with here. Half point makes it a little closer, but
yeah, I'm D-Hop as well. I don't know if DeAndre Swift is the number 1 or the number 3, and that's tough.
Right.
At this point of the season, I think Rashad Penny's the best runner as long as he's on the field. That's never been in question as his effectiveness as a runner. It's been, is he going to be on the field or not? So how are these touches going to be distributed in Philly? We may find that you can't start any Philly running back on a week-to-week basis because it's just split too much, 8 to 9 touches per. That's yet to be determined, so I'm going with D-Hop here as well. I think he's
we do have a super chat. I don't know if you hit it when I was gone or not, but
no, we have not. We do need.
Okay, we're late on this. I'm gonna keep scroll down at the bottom so we don't miss any.
Okay, so we're gonna go. So who's next? We have Luis Nunez is next after we do the super chat. The super chat is Raw. Ranked tight ends: Likely, Hurst, Musgrave, Kincaid, Jay Ferg. I'll go ahead and start with this one. I'm going Hurst, Likely, Kincaid, Ferg, Musgrave. Bryce?
Likely Hurst, Musgrave, Kincaid, Ferg. The order he's got it in.
Hurst, Likely, Ferguson, Kincaid, Musgrave.
So two have Hurst first.
Two. And I do think him and Likely are real close, but I do think Likely would be first if it was last year's receiving core. But I do agree with Zay Flowers, Odell, Bateman, all healthy. It is a little bit tougher for Likely there, but with Hurst, who's the number one there? Is it Marshall? Is it Mingo? Is it Thielen? Or any?
I think
of
it's
them
Thielen
healthy?
I think it's Thielen until proved otherwise, but that doesn't mean much.
Probably right.
But Hurst should be able to get some targets there. Okay, so now I need to find Luis Nunez. Love the live. Should I put in Pittman today, fellas, or Scary Terry? I see the smirk from Sully, so we're going to start with him because I think he's got this one mixed on where I'm going with it.
Well, I regardless of where you're going with it, I know where I'm going with it, and I'm leaving Pittman on the side, and I'm sticking with my Commanders wide receivers. So, Terry,
it's Scary Terry for me as well.
It's Scary Terry for me as well. He's my 17th ranked wide receiver. Again, Scary Terry, really good. A guy that I think has opportunity to be a top 8 wide receiver this year and put up the best numbers of his career. If Sam Howell is as advertised this offseason, this was wide receiver 14 last year with Taylor Heineke. So
I have Terry at 20 just for fun.
Mike says full PPR running back 2, Rashad White or Stevenson. Sully, we'll start with you again on this one.
It's Ramondre, and I know I was a little bit sort of cautious at the beginning, but no way, man. Ramondre for sure. Bryce.
Yeah, it's Ramondre for me as well. I can't imagine the Patriots are in any sort of way winning this game to where the pass game isn't a necessity the whole second half. Ramondre should get a decent amount of targets when it comes to that portion of the game. Right.
I have Stevenson as my RB10 on the week and White as my RB25. So it's pretty easily Stevenson for me as well. PPR, Gibson or Dotson versus the Cards as a flex. I'm pretty sure I know where you guys are going with this one. Right.
Yeah, I'm going Dotson here rather easily. I know Gibson is a PPR threat out of the backfield, but I don't really see many carries given to him today, probably around 5. With that being said, I'm way more confident with Dotson getting more targets. Sully.
I'd like to get both these guys in my lineup. I'm going to go with Dotson here, but I love Gibson, especially in the McKissick role in Bieniemy's offense this year. I think he's going to be a smash guy that you got late in your drafts, but I'll go with Dotson here. I'm rather enamored with him.
I am on the other side on this one. I have Gibson 10 spots ahead of Dotson in my overall rankings. I am going with Gibson here. What Sully just said, Bieniemy's offense playing the McKinnon role from last year. We know how good McKinnon was down the stretch for KC. I think that's Gibson's role in this offense, and I've said it since Gibson came into the league. He was a wide receiver in college. They moved him to running back. The best way to use him is to split him out, use him as a receiving running back. They didn't really do that so far in his career, and it sounds like that's going to change this year. And I like Gibson more than I've liked him at any point in his career, especially with the price point that he was in ADP. Dang it. Are we hitting those at the same time, Bryce? Or
No, my hands are off.
Wasn't you?
My hands are off.
I must just be fat fingering it.
Yeah.
Rashad White or Raheem Mostert? Bryce.
Is it Monster? It's Mostert for me.
Mostert.
Yeah, whatever. I'm going with Raheem Mostert this week for sure. Sully.
I pronounce it white, and that's where I'm going.
That's good.
That's funny. That was good.
Vikings
I think-
stink, or they're shitty, remember? So White will have a good game.
I literally had these guys back to back with White one spot ahead of Mostert in my rankings, but that was before I knew that Shane was going to be out. So I'm going Mostert here. I would move him up in my rankings because of that. So I'm going Mostert here. And then Joshua also says Brandon Cooks, Michael Thomas, OBJ, Zay Flowers, DJ Moore, or Ayuk. Choose one. This is so easily DJ Moore for me. Wide receiver 16 in my rankings on the week. And Craig Craig dropped a note last night on DJ Moore in his 2 games against Zaire. 130 yards and a touchdown in one with 9 targets and 6 catches. And the other one was like 11 targets, 8 catches for 120 yards and a touchdown. So if you're worried about the matchup, DJ Moore is going to eat today, and the Bears are going to try to show him off after that big offseason acquisition. I'm high on DJ Moore this week, obviously, and I'm a Bears fan, but there might be a little bit of bias in there. But DJ Moore is really good, and I think he has his best quarterback he's ever played with, passing-wise. You know, you can argue Cam Newton with the combo, but Cam Newton was kind of broke at the point when DJ came in. So,
you come in.
Yeah, Bryce, I interrupted you.
No, it's DJ Moore for me as well, followed by Michael Thomas, not super far behind. And then there's a decent gap between the rest. DJ Moore. Totally.
Yeah, sweep it. I think that the stat that I liked about DJ Moore when we were discussing it, and Rick, you know this better than I do, at the time that the trade went down, is the consistency and the accuracy of fields in the middle of the field and the number of times that DJ Moore is targeted in the middle of the field. And 2 + 2 = 4, no matter which 2 you put first. So I really like DJ Moore this season and this game. I think I have him where I have him this week. He's my wide receiver 18. So I think Rick and I are on the same page.
Yeah, that stat that you're talking about is last year Justin Fields was the most accurate quarterback in the NFL in between and on throws in between 10 and 19 yards. I think it was 69.8% or something. And DJ Moore since 2019 has ran the second most routes between 10 and 19 yards. That's where he excels. It's a match made in heaven. I love it. And DJ Moore is the guy out of those this week. Michael Thomas is close. He's my wide receiver 24. So 8 spots behind. Both of them top 24 receivers. I'd try to get them both in the lineup if I could. Detroit owns KC. That's what I just heard. Detroit doesn't own anything. They don't even own Detroit yet.
Did he go to Bible camp again recently? Like, why is he so feisty?
Mad Dad, because the Lions got a win. I don't remember. When was the last time? This is a question. This is a trivia question.
When they were 1-0?
The last time they were 1-0. When was it?
Leather helmets? I don't know.
Leather helmets.
I'm going to try to find out the answer to that question.
It has to be when Matt Stafford and Calvin played.
I don't even
know if it was then.
Eric says, all right, gents, here we go. D-Hop or Kirk as wide receiver 2? Sully, where are you going? D-Hop or Kirk?
I'm going D-Hop here. I like Kirk a lot, but I think target-wise, Hopkins just gets pounded.
Yeah, it's D-Hop for me as well. I want some clarity on Kirk's going to be involved, of course, but Calvin Ridley's now the best wide receiver on that team. D-Hop's the best wide receiver on his team. I'm going to take the number one option who I see getting more targets, more volume. Rick.
Because of the acquisition of Calvin Ridley, as you said, he is the best wide receiver on the Jaguars, but Kirk may be relegated to the number 3 option because Evan Ingram came on late last year. After getting some work with Trevor Lawrence, getting used to that offense. And we know that Peterson will use that tight end as a big spot in his offense, as we saw with Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert when Peterson was in Philly. So I am worried about Kirk. I'm going D-Hop here. Mordenheim says Dameon Pierce, Jahan Dotson, Khalil Herbert in the flex. Who are we going with? I'm going to go with Pierce here myself. I will double check my rankings to make sure I'm right there, but I'm pretty sure I got Pierce ahead here.
I'm gonna go Jahan Dotson. Just Pierce just doesn't have much PPR upside enough for me to start him over Dotson. Honestly, I might even consider starting Khalil Herbert over Dameon Pierce. I'm probably in the minority on how low I am on Dameon Pierce. Good runner. No problem with that. Just that's all he does, and that's not an offense that is going to be high scoring. So his touchdown upside is low, which is something you don't like to see in the type of running back that he is. So I'll go with Jahan Dotson. Sully.
I'm going to go with Dameon Pierce here. I love Dobson, obviously, but I think the half-point PPR sways him here. Dameon Pierce did not get a lot of opportunity to catch the football last year, but it looks like with the new regime and the new offense, using that San Francisco 49ers sort of model, that he will, and he can catch. So I think he's going to surprise a lot of people, yourself included, Bryce, this season. So I'll go with Dameon Pierce here.
And he didn't even need to catch the ball last year to be a valuable fantasy asset. Well, he was on the field. He was pretty darn good for a guy that we didn't even know.
He might be one of those guys you can add. And he might be one of those guys you can add to that list of 6 that pretty much gets all the work, because I think he got about 80% of the work last year.
Yeah, I do think that Singletary is going to be a little bit of thorn in his side. I think I mentioned it last night. Singletary has just been a guy that has ruined the dreams of the Zach Moss truthers and James Cook truthers last year, and he's been he averages like 5 yards per carry in his career. He does get some work here, so I do think his workload will be a little bit smaller, but he is a dude. That's no question about it. Rendon Dye says, would you trade Marvin Mims and Raheem Mostert for Mostert, or White if you pronounce it wrong like Sully, for Jerry Jeudy? Sully.
In a vacuum, absolutely.
Yeah, if it's a dynasty, for sure. But honestly, I don't know. Again, your roster would be important here, but I like Raheem Mostert this year for contending redraft purposes again, where it's just like Jerry Jeudy, it's the same old song and dance. It seems like year in, year out, off season, in season, it just never can't stay healthy at all. You could say the same thing about Raheem Mostert, obviously, but at least he's not starting the season injured. So I think it's a fair trade, can benefit both parties depending on what the running back situation is looking like. So,
I mean, for me in redraft, this is Raheem Mostert for Jerry Jeudy. Marvin Mims, I wouldn't even be rostering in redraft probably. So,
correct.
If it's redraft, I'm taking Jeudy over Mostert. I think I say his name different every other time I say it. But I'm going Jerry Jeudy here for sure. Yeah, and when you ask your questions, if it is a dynasty, I would just put that in there that it's dynasty, so that we can differentiate the two between that and redraft. Rashad White or D-Hop, 0.5 PPR. Is anybody going Rashad White? Raise your hand if you're going Rashad White. That's what I figured. 3-0, D-Hop. Rashad White's been a popular one today. We didn't have a whole lot of Rashad Whites last night, but today he is Kadropius Tony. I'm so glad I didn't start him.
Yeah, well, great. I did.
Trey says full PPR. Start 2 running backs. We got Miles Sanders, Alexander Madison, and Rashad White. I'm sitting Madison.
I think I'm also sitting Madison.
I'll sit Sanders.
Gibson,
Madison's somewhere between better than me, I think he is, and not as good as you guys. Whatever I'm trying to say. I think he's okay. I'm worried about Sanders.
I think he's okay. I think he's playing against a tough run defense, and I want to. Is he going to catch the ball?
He should. He has every time he's had that opportunity, but that's a whole other story. He should. That should doesn't matter. Doesn't mean anything.
Dylan wants to know Gibson or Breece. I'm going Gibson this week until we see what Breece is being used. What about you, Bryce?
Yeah, I'm going to go Gibson as well. I'm going to have to get clarity on Breece Hall's situation. I don't know when will he ever be a guy that we feel comfortable starting as long as Dalvin Cook is there and healthy. So Gibson. And we have a super chat, by the way.
Gibson for sure for me.
Okay, so the next, gosh dang it.
You want to stay on it? You want to stay there and I'll click on the super chat?
Yeah, that's good. That helps me a lot. Yeah.
Okay. From Rob.
Flex 1, Juju, Elijah Moore, Jalen Warren, Van Jefferson, and Kirk Cousins Richardson.
I think he's like saying like flex one of these and then another question, Cousins or Richardson is what I'm assuming.
Okay. So I think we're all gonna agree that we're going Cousins over Richardson until we see what happens there, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, agree.
Okay,
yep.
So we're all going Cousins, and then we need to flex one out of those. I'm going Van Jefferson as probably the primary wide receiver target. Higbee may be the primary target for Matt Stafford, but out of the wide receivers, I think Van Jefferson's going to be it. I'm going that route. I need to see Elijah Moore, and I still think that Warren may get some touches, but not enough to put him in yet. So Van Jefferson for me. Sully, where are you going with this one?
I'm going to agree with you here. I would put I somewhat considered Elijah Moore, but I need to see him in that offense first. So it's Van Jefferson based on what I perceive would be his volume. There's reports that Warren and Harris are going to split touches today. I'll believe that when I see it. But yeah, it's Van for me. Bryce?
I'm going to go Juju for the same reasons you guys are going Van Jefferson. Devontae Parker's out today. So even with him out, I think Juju is going to be a volume guy. And again, the Patriots are going to be forced to throw the ball. So I'll go with Juju. The answer is probably going to be Elijah Moore here in a couple of weeks, though.
Very well could be. Very well could be.
Could be.
Adams says Hopkins or Thomas.
This is a good one.
This is a good one.
This is a good one. I just have a gut feeling Michael Thomas is going to be really, really good this year if he's healthy. So I'm going to go with Michael Thomas.
Did you say you're going last, Sully? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I'll go with Michael Thomas.
Yes, here's where I'm at. You want to know how close this is? I have Thomas as my wide receiver 24 and DeAndre Hopkins as my wide receiver 25. So it's Thomas by that much.
Yeah,
it's close. Trying to get both of them in my lineup if I can. Sully, it's on you.
You going to go against the grain?
I think I have to go with Michael Thomas here based on, as much as I think Hopkins gets a lot of targets, I think the volume of the Saints passing game supersedes the volume of the Titans, if that makes any sense. Like, I just think he gets more targets, and I think they're both elite in my mind. So if one gets more opportunity than the other, I'll take the one that gets more opportunity. So that's why I'll take Thomas. But it's freaking close. I'm just trying to take a look at where I have him.
Dylan says, oh, we answered that one.
Yep, we had that one.
Asked twice. I promise you guys, we do go in order, and we're trying to get caught up here so that we're not making you wait so long. But the action's here, and we got to go with it. So Marco wants to know, Godwin, Mooney, Addison, start one. It's Godwin for me. Mooney's the Bears' number 3. I've been saying it. I had bets taken last night against me because people don't believe it. But Godwin is who I'm starting here out of these 3. Sully.
Yeah, I think so as well. Mooney's the 3. Who's the 2?
Claypool is the number 2.
He doesn't like Claypool.
I would take that bet too. I've hated him his whole career. Anyway, Godwin for me.
Yeah, it's Godwin rather easily for me.
Travis Unlimited says Deontay Johnson or Terry McLaurin. Will Terry's turf toe keep him off the field?
Doesn't sound like it.
Terry McLaurin's in. I'm going Terry McLaurin over Deontay. They are close though, because I think they may be. I have McLaurin at 17 and Deontay at 20. So they are very close in my rankings as well, but it's Terry McLaurin for me. Sully, you're shaking your head. Do you agree with that?
I have Terry ranked at 21 and DJ at 28 right now. I might move DJ up after I take a look at what's happening this morning, but I'm going to go with McLaurin here.
Yep, it's scary Terry for me as well.
Darius says Herbert or Cook in my flex spot. Bryce, who you going with here?
Yeah, there's a lot of Cooks. No matter what, I'm probably still going Herbert. I don't care if it's Dalvin, Brandon, and or James. I'm probably still going to go with Khalil Herbert here. Sully.
I'm worried about Herbert. Rick, what's happening in there? Like, I think Roshan's going to be way more involved than people think. But I think Herbert's probably in the best situation in week 1. I don't know what James Cook and or Dalvin Cook are going to do against each other in that Monday nighter. I think they both play pretty decent defenses. So I'll go with Herbert. I just worry because he's not going to catch anything. Like, he's got to score to be the answer, but I think he can. So I'll go with Herbert.
I do think Herbert's going to be more active in the passing game. They showed that a little bit in the action they got in preseason. But I have these ranked: Dalvin, James, then Herbert. But I have James and Herbert. They're 2 spots apart. So I'm going Dalvin Cook, or if it's James Cook, I'm going James Cook. So Herbert's the number 3 there for me. Dylan says Juju or Deion Jackson PPR. Bryce, you were talking about Juju being volume. Is he gonna be in there ahead of Deion Jackson for you?
Yeah, the other one was closer for me with Juju and Van Jefferson. So I'm going with Juju here over Deion Jackson. Just too much. There's more clarity, I think, with what Juju's role will be with the Patriots than there is with Deion Jackson's in Indianapolis. Sully?
Yeah, with what I envision Evan Hull doing in the passing game in Indianapolis and the offense not being that great, not that I expect the Patriots to do much either, but I think Juju, just volume-wise, it's a pretty straightforward and easy answer for me. Rick?
Rap Sheet says to expect plenty of carries for running back Dalvin Cook on Monday Night Football as he serves as the Jets' lead back while Breece Hall eases back into action. So I'd probably be moving with that news. I'd probably be moving Dalvin up even more in my rankings. This is a guy that was ranked weekly top 12 last year. And if he's healthy and he's going to get the bulk of the work, then he's probably a top 15, 16 running back. I think I have him at 21 right now. So
you mean on the week or the season?
The week.
The week?
Yeah.
I arguably has top 12 upside and 24 floor. So yeah, right where you got him. By the way, the Lions last started 1-0 in 2017.
2017?
It was Stafford. And
yeah, but what was it before that?
Leather helmets. I had a hard enough time. Finding when it's. I'm not going to continue to look.
Going. Juju for me as well there, Dylan. Perry says flex 2, Jamal Williams, Raheem Mostert. Or White, if you do pronounce it wrong. Godwin, Gabe Davis. Okay, so Gabe Davis is out for me, and Rashad White's out for me. I'm going Jamal Williams and Mostert, I think, here.
I will second that, and I will be right back. I'm going to use the restroom.
I am Jamal Williams and White, because I believe I had White over Mostert before, so I can't change my mind now.
Tan says Mike Evans or Rashad White at flex, half PPR.
White for me. I'm really worried about Evans in that offense, even against a terrible pass defense in Minnesota.
With the half PPR, I have them literally like 62 and 67 in my overall rankings, with White behind, but that is PPR, and I do think Rashad White's going to get some dump offs. So I'm probably going to go.
Baker does throw to the running back a lot.
Yeah. I'm going to go Mike Evans here by just a smidge. Perry comes back with flex. Oh, look at this. The half of it. Sully hates it.
I hate it all.
Just threw up in his mouth. Akers, Pittman, Herbert, or Nico Collins. I'm flexing Akers here.
I am as well.
What?
Well, who else am I going to pick? It's not Pittman because Akers is going to get the ball much more than Pittman does. Herbert, I'm worried about. And Nico Collins.
You're going Nico.
I like Nico, but no.
Sawyer
I'm not sure Nico's the best wide receiver on his team.
Well, with John Mechie out today, then he might be.
Yeah, that's true.
Juju, Rondell Moore, or Javonte Williams. I'm going Juju here. Javonte, I hope it's soon, but there's a lot of hype around Jaleel McLaughlin getting a bunch of touches. There's Samaje Perine there and Javonte. It's another one of those three-headed backfields that we just don't know what's going to happen. We do know Peyton can use multiple backs, but I don't know that we've ever seen him use three to a point where you could start any of the three. I think right now the Broncos backfield is a sit for me until we see how that shakes out. So I'm going Juju. Sully, I seen you shaking your head there. Are you in agreement?
I just love Jaleel McLaughlin. I have him on literally every Dynasty roster I have. I added him everywhere this offseason. So that's probably the reason why he won't do much. But nonetheless, I just can't get behind Rondell Moore. Juju, I think we talked about earlier. Peyton's been talking up Javonte and how much work he's going to get, and I'm not sure I trust that. So I'll reluctantly go Juju here, and I wish I was saying Javonte Williams.
I'm going Javonte Williams here. He's the best running back there.
That's fine. Somebody's got to be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes too.
Fair enough.
Mostert is the popular one today, huh? And I've said his name 18 different ways, so nobody knows who I'm talking about. Mostert or Hopkins at flex with A-Shane out. I'm going Hopkins still on this one. Sully, where are you going?
I think we had this earlier, and I was Hopkins earlier, so I'm just going to keep saying Hopkins so I don't contradict myself. The only person I have over Hopkins so far is Michael Thomas, so I'll just keep saying Hopkins.
I don't know if we had this one earlier, but because I feel like I would have remembered it, but I really like Mostert this week, but I'm sticking with Hopkins.
Ross has got to stream and replace Kelsey. Oh, that was on his tight end question on the
I feel that pain.
Chat. What's up? Who should I start in PPR league between Madison, Bijan, or ETN?
Bijan.
On 3, 1, 2, 3. Bijan.
Yeah, there's
Sully just shakes his head. Come on, man.
I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I struggle with this.
He does say start 2, so bench 1.
Okay,
oh.
now
Madison.
it's now
1, 2,
1,
yeah.
2, 3. Madison.
City TN. I have Madison ranked higher this week.
No way.
Wait for Tank Bigsby to prove me right.
I think Tank Bigsby will, but it won't be week 1.
Just wait till you see.
No, I'll take Madison this week over ETN.
$5.
You don't believe the 1,600 yards that Doug Peterson said he wants ETN to get?
So I want Madison to get 1,800 yards and 14 touchdowns. Does that mean it's going to happen?
I know. I'm just saying. Well, you're not the head coach for the Vikings.
I was going to say. There is a difference.
That's a very good point, Bryce.
between Viking superfan Rob Sullivan and head coach.
I don't think I'm a super fan either. I don't know anybody who hates his team more than I do. So I don't know if I call myself a super fan.
You guys taking Madison versus ETN?
I am. Easy. No problem.
All right.
My eyes are watering after that one.
I don't pay these dets anyway, so fuck, who cares?
I don't like either of them really, so I don't want to be in it.
Who cares if it's $100,000? We're not paying anyway. Kate and the Colts fan says my running backs are Jones, Pierce, and Jay Cook. So that must have been to a previous Keenan Allen for Debo and Kamara question that we had. Those were his other backs. I would take that. I would still take Kamara in that.
Yeah.
So would I.
In that deal.
Because I think Jones and Pierce will get you through.
That was to Ross, ETN, Bijan question. Pick one: Marquise Brown, Michael Thomas, Mike Evans. Michael Thomas.
Yep.
MT.
Baby Santa, what's up, man? Thanks for hanging out with us last night.
Sure.
Okay,
Dude, his
that's
picture was
awesome.
awesome.
That's fantastic.
Yo, what's up, fellas? Start 2 half PPR. We got James Conner, James Cook, Jamal Williams, Mike Evans, Christian Kirk. We're starting 2. I am going with Jamal Williams and James Conner.
Definitely Connor for me.
Yeah, Connor for me. And then it comes down to, I'm going to go with Jamal Williams and James Conner.
Jamal Williams is going to get a bunch of work with Kendre and Alvin Kamara out. Tony Jones is probably the backup.
He's going to get even some receptions. He might get more receptions today than he did all last year, which would be like 4. So he had very little receptions.
My question was, who's the Saints' backup? I think Rick did answer it. It's Connor and Williams for me as well. Opportunity, just screaming Williams here.
Yep. I'll definitely take all the running back opportunity available. You should trade for Jacob Johnson. I don't know where that went to. Sorry, stuff gets lost in this chat. Michael Thomas or Christian Kirk, full PPR. I think we actually just answered this one, right? A similar question, but we had Michael Thomas over Christian Kirk in that question, so going there. Full PPR, Roman needs to know, are we taking Najee Harris or Jalen Warren? If it's a 50-50 split, it's Najee until we see that actually come to fruition. I think we all agree on that. Jim Coop says, with Waller questionable in a PPR, do I go with Gerald Everett or pick up Likely? Also, at Flex, Van Jefferson, Mims, Gallup, or Roshan Johnson. It looks like Waller's going to play. So I'm risking it, and I'm waiting on Waller because he should be the top target for the Giants. And then it's easily Van Jefferson for me out of that group for the flex. Sully, where you at?
Gerald Everett should be rostered. So whether Waller's active or not, I think I might try to find a way to get him onto my roster unless I have to do some catastrophic damage to it.
Yeah, I think he has
Everett on his
roster. My
roster.
Apologies. Okay. Then if I have Everett,
likely.
If I have Everett and Waller, I'm not picking up anybody. I'm just going to start Everett. And I might do that anyway, just because Waller's a little bit questionable. And then the flex wise, Van Jefferson, Mims, Gallup, or Roshan, it's Van Jefferson as well. Just based on what we talked about earlier, I think he gets a lot of volume. He has to.
Waller's expected to play, so I'm leaving him in there.
Yep.
You don't have much of a choice waiting because he is the night game. And then
probably always grab Bellinger. I'm sure he's widely available.
Yeah. That'd be your worst case scenario. And then
I would drop Mims probably and pick up Bellinger, have Waller in my starting lineup, and then if he does get marked out, then I put Bellinger in for the 1 week, and then hopefully Waller's back next week. That's what I would do. I'm not rookie wide receivers that were deep stash. You're probably gonna be able to pick Mims back up next week anyway,
unless he pops off. I agree, which I don't think he will.
Well,
Yuki Lee says, hello, my kings.
Hello.
How are you all doing on this splendiferous afternoon?
It's 9 o'clock in the morning where I am.
What time is it for you? Yeah, it's 11.
Well, are we looking? Are we in Korea, Japan? Do we already know if Ramondre is good to go? It looks like he's going to play. He's expected to play, and I'm firing him up.
I have him at running back 8 this week, so I know I was a little harsh on him season long, but this week I'm not.
You're higher on him than I am this week.
I thought you had him at 8 as well.
I had him at 10.
He has him at 10.
No, I really like him this week.
It's just funny that we argued about him earlier.
No,
and you were actually higher on
Let me know when we're caught up on the questions, and I'll tell you why. But I won't.
We're not going to be caught up.
We're never going to get caught up.
All right. Well, now with that attitude, we won't. Let's keep going.
Hakuna Matata 69.
Nice.
Higbee, Likely, or Njoku? I'm going Higbee.
Yep, me too.
I think you got
so many targets for Higbee.
Yeah,
he could be top 4 this week.
Yep.
Raw, we were a little bit late getting to your super chat, and I apologize.
No,
but-
he. I think he put that up there when he was asking like, "What was it?" And then he ended up putting one in. Then he ended up putting one in like several minutes later.
Gotcha. We did get to that, right? We didn't.
Yes, we did. We did.
Yeah.
Perfect. Raptors fan says Najee Harris or Mike Williams non-PPR league. Non-PPR, Najee Harris or Mike Williams. With that matchup and a non-PPR, I'm going Mike Williams here in that shootout touchdown equity. You guys are both shaking your head, so you're both on Mike Williams this week with the non-PPR?
In a non-PPR, I'm going to go Mike Williams. In PPR, I'd probably go Najee.
Yeah, like Mike Williams is one of the few wide receivers that in non-PPR might be more valuable than PPR just because of his big boom plays. So
yeah,
Mike Williams for sure. Yep.
Neil says Rashad White versus Deebo Samuel versus Jahan Dotson, half PPR. Ooh. So are we just picking one out of the three? Is that what we're doing here, Neil?
Looks like it.
Go ahead, Sully.
It's hard for me too.
I'm going to go with Jahan Dotson, but I have a feeling the right answer is Rashad White. But I will go Dotson.
I'm going Deebo.
Deebo's my third option here too. I'm going to go with Jahan Dotson as well. It's lucky. It's White or Dotson for me.
The most confident answer ever.
It's White or Dotson for me.
Tone says Mostert or Brian Robinson. I think we're all going to agree here. Mostert. Anybody going Brian Robinson over Mostert?
Yeah, we had this one earlier. A different person though.
Oh, you are? You're going?
Yeah, he went.
I think Robinson kills. I think Robinson smashes.
Yep, I'm going Mostert.
Mustard.
Marco from the future saying the Lions being 1-0 and 1-0. I think that was when Grant was still in office.
Like Ulysses S. Grant.
Let's be honest. Last time was 2017 when the Lions started 1-0. Hey, Marco from the future, can you go Marco to the past and find out before 2017 when it was?
And while you're doing that, find out the last time they were 2-0.
Yeah, good. Check 2017 first.
Yeah, that's right. Start.
Yo, what's up, guys? Michael Thomas or George Pickens in the flex today? I'm going Michael Thomas.
Michael Thomas.
Yep. Easy. I'm
says,
yeah. I'll just stop.
I agree. I agree with this.
I hope the Patriots redesign their new uniforms. They are awful.
Yeah, I hate the shoulder.
I'd like them to go back to the red. Go back to the red with the old school logo, like those retro ones. I think those are great.
Yeah, they wore them a couple
last year.
I think they're going to wear them again a couple times this year. So
I would do that. I like that logo so much better. So much better.
Yeah, they should go red as their primary color and then white as their secondary.
And when they wore those uniforms, they were shitty, and they're shitty now. So it just makes sense.
Yeah,
in the 2 QB league. Start Sammy Howell or Matt Stafford today. Thanks, guys. You rock. Sully, who you start?
I have Howell ranked higher.
I'm going Sam Howell.
I have Stafford without Cup. I think I have him at like QB 26.
Yeah. If Cup was playing, it'd be Stafford. But Sam Howell just has a great spread of weapons to throw the ball to with Gibson, Dotson, Scary Terry. He and De'Ami Brown played in college together, so I think that's a good third option with that chemistry already built. I really like Sam Howell this week.
Yeah, I have Howell at 19, Stafford at 24, so it's not a big gap, but I would start Howell. Plus, Howell gives you something with his legs that Stafford never will.
Yep.
Yeah, I just looked. I have him flipped from where you have him. I have Howell at 24 and Stafford at 18. But man, it's hard to start Stafford, right?
Yeah, with no
but
cut.
this son of a gun slings it.
Unless you think they lean on Akers. If they lean on Akers, then that's
what I think they do today.
Like if you're a big Akers fan, can't be wrong twice.
Well, they're going to have to throw the ball. Their defense probably is not going to be very good.
It might be. They might have the worst secondary in the NFL. Them in Arizona, and I can't remember who else. There's 4 teams that are really bad. I heard the PFF ranking, but they were 2 of the worst in the NFL. So,
well, I think those guys said Sammy. So I think that's where you're going to lean anyway. So don't listen to me and my Matt Stafford ahead of him in the rankings. I've never been as high on Sam Howell as the consensus. I am prepared to be wrong on Sam Howell. I will say that I am prepared to be wrong. Everything has been glowing this offseason. When your coach apologizes for not knowing how good you were, I mean, that's an embarrassing thing for a coach to say. So you have to put some stock into it. If a coach says that and apologizes to you, I think you have to put stock in that. So, I think these guys are probably right. I think my rankings are probably wrong with Matt Stafford ahead of him. And I'm probably a little bit too low on Sam Howell, and I can admit that.
When you're looking at quarterbacks ranked between 18 and 25, you're looking at could be 0.2 of a point difference, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think we're either one of us are that crazy right now.
Is it worth dropping Swift for Likely, who's sitting in the waivers? My current tight end is Waller. No, just go with Waller and Kincaid. Leave Likely out there. Keep Swift because we don't know. If Swift is the number one back and he gets a majority of this work in a Philly offense, there's going to be a lot of points there for him.
If he takes over Miles Sanders' role, he is going to be more valuable than Miles Sanders was last year.
Agree. I think and I'm as guilty of this as anybody, but when a starter goes out and the handcuff, for lack of a better term, gets the opportunity, they don't automatically become that player. Like Isaiah Likely is a nice, athletic, big tight end. He's never going to produce like Andrews does. So if he was Andrews, then maybe I would drop Swift, but I don't see the upside to Likely that the most do. I think he's definitely capable of being a decent tight end, but I don't see this top 2-3 tight end out there. I'm not dropping Swift.
I think he's got top 8 talent
sure.
at the position in the league. So it's different than Noah Gray, right? And you've seen it. You saw my tweet last week.
Yeah.
Like, quit thinking that Noah Gray and these guys are going to come in and just take Kelsey's targets. Like, no, none of these guys are good enough to get the full benefit of him being out. It's going to be spread around. And we saw nobody had more than 5 targets. I'm pretty sure the leading guy was 5 targets for Kansas City. He spread it around, and Rashee Rice was really the only one that took advantage of it. Justin Watson, too, I guess. He and MVS, they took advantage of their opportunity.
If Rice doesn't catch his touchdown pass, nobody's talking about him.
Right, but none of them were going to go get 12 targets because Kelsey was out, right? I think so. I agree with that point, but I do think that Likely is actually a talented tight end that's in the backup role, unlike a Noah Gray or a Blake Bell for when Kelsey's out. So
you're saying it is top 8 upside if he goes somewhere else.
If he was a starting tight end in the league, I think
can
he would have
that.
top 8 talent.
Yeah,
he's
that's
with
11,
a guy that's
11 points a game. So
top 2-3 talent, right? So,
So
I do think Likely is a different than that typical backup that just fills in.
But if you have
from him as a rookie,
if you have Waller and Kincaid on your team already, when other than this week is Isaiah Likely getting in your lineup?
And that's what I agree with. And I would keep Waller and Kincaid and just leave Likely on the waiver wire in this situation.
Premium or not.
Full PPR, start Dotson or Godwin. Also start Dak or Justin Fields. Thanks, gentlemen. I'm going to let you guys answer this one first so you can answer it for me.
Dotson, it's because it's been Dotson all damn day. Not stopping now. And Justin Fields, arguably one of 4 or 5 quarterbacks who could finish any week as the QB1. So I'm going with Justin Fields.
Yeah, it's Dotson and Fields rather easily. It's going to be hard to find a quarterback you're going to put above them. It's not going to find many quarterbacks put above them unless you're stacked there. Rick, and we have a super chat.
You guys know where I'm going when it comes to quarterback. It's Justin Fields. I agree with you guys. The upside there is huge. But it's Godwin pretty easily for me here at wide receiver over Dotson. I think the Dotson hype is just too big right now. Last year, he didn't get a bunch of targets. He was you always talk, Sully. You always talk about touchdown dependency. And this was a guy that started off hot with touchdowns, which is, reminiscent of Terry McLaurin when he came into the league and had 5 straight games with a touchdown during his rookie season. But I just think there's a lot of preseason hype around Dotson. Godwin has been a steady producer for years, and even did it coming back from a horrific injury last year and was pretty steady from the get-go. I'm going Godwin there over Dotson. I don't hate Dotson, but I think he's the second best receiver on his team.
I just heard you hate Dotson. That's okay.
No, I don't hate Dotson.
No, you make a lot of good
points.
points.
He's more of an up and down guy. Like, I think he's going to have boom weeks, but he's going to have weeks that disappoint people, where Terry McLaurin is going to be the steady guy, and he's going to have boom weeks too, especially if Sam Howell is as good as everybody thinks.
Yeah, and not to make your point for you, but Godwin's done it regardless of quarterback too. He did it with Jameson. He did it with who the hell? I can blanking on him. The coolest quarterback of all time. And he did it with Brady. So why can't I think of that quarterback?
Oh, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Thank you.
You said coolest quarterback of all time, and it was obvious after I put it all
right
together. But hey, Bryce, before you put these up, let me remember where my spot is.
Oh, okay.
Come on.
I'll find it. But Roman,
I'll find it. I'll find that. I could do something other than
I think I found it. Roman, thank you very much. We appreciate you. He says, play 2. We got PPR, Akers, Najee Harris, James Cook. I'm going Akers, Najee Harris, pretty easy. James Cook's on the back burner for me on this one. Sully, you agree?
Even I'm agreeing with that.
Yeah.
I don't know what Cook is until I see it.
Yeah. This could be James Cook next week over Najee. I've been trying to avoid Najee like the plague this season, and I've been going after James Cook. But again, let's see what he does before we put him in our lineup over someone that's been.
Rob was thinking the same thing, but he was going, next week, this is probably James Cook over Akers.
Yeah.
How many years have we heard that the Bills wanted Allen to run less and the running back to take more touches and this, and it never happens. Allen's like, screw this, I'm scoring. I don't care what you guys want.
Right. So we did that one.
So the next one.
So next one, Chris Godwin or Amari Cooper. Anybody
Amari
going?
Cooper.
I was going to say, is anybody going Godwin here? Because I'm Cooper hardcore. Cooper actually.
I got him potentially being a top 5 wide receiver this year.
I have him at rank number 9, wide receiver 9 on the week.
I have him at 14.
I love it.
Regardless of where I have him, it's Amari Cooper. Like, to Bryce's point, Cooper was a top 12 wide receiver with Jacoby Brissett last year. If Deshaun Watson is even remotely similar to what he was before, Cooper should be top 10-ish type easy, in my opinion. He's a great wide receiver.
Agreed. George says Rashad White, Miles Sanders. Man, we've had this one a lot.
I know.
White.
What did I say I had that?
Sanders for me.
Yeah, I'm Sanders as well.
Here
we go.
On that one too.
This is.
I
this
already
is
have. I don't
fresh.
even know.
I think we have had these guys in the same question, but there was like 6 tight ends in it. But Peking, I'm going Dalton Schultz here.
Dalton Schultz for me as well. Kind of rather easily.
Pretty easily for me.
History will show that the rookie quarterback doesn't check down to the tight end as much as we think we do. College history would tell us that C.J. Stroud barely used his tight end, but I think that's more the offense he was in than anything else. When you have the elite wide receivers that he did, I wouldn't throw it to my tight end either. I just don't think Chig sees the volume, so I'll go Dalton Schultz here as well, but I don't think it's going to be a wide margin, to be totally honest.
Dalton Schultz, we talked about Houston's wide receiver core earlier. Dalton Schultz could lead this team in targets this year.
He might be their best pass catcher.
I don't think so.
Probably not. You don't see it often with tight ends, but it's
he could be number 2. I'll give you number 2, but I don't think he leads him in targets. But how do I know?
I mean, I think that Nico is going to lead them in targets. I think Nico. What we got? Hey, I got tight end rankings.
I love.
You mean kicker? This is kicker.
I mean kicker. Yeah, I got.
I do too.
God,
I do too.
The answer to this question is get a hold of your commissioner, and if you are the commissioner,
it's redraft. Dude. You're playing a kicker in redraft,
and tell him to add a flex.
Hey man, Scott Fishbowl has kickers in it, and that's the biggest fantasy football tournament on the planet. So
yep. So I have McManus as my 6.
I'm at 10.
Sanders as my 9.
I don't even know where Sanders is on mine. Hang on. 7 for Sanders for me.
I
I have Joseph at 13.
have Joseph at 12.
I think he's going to win
So
this.
it's for me. It's McManus, and I think it's Sanders for you, right?
I have Sanders at 7. He might kick 5 extra points, and a couple of field goals. Like there could be a ton of points there.
I do like him. But the same thing could be said for the Jaguars offense with Brandon McManus. So I think we have those two guys really close. So I think we can throw out the rest, right? And because I don't have any of the other guys. I have Dicker at 14.
I don't even know if I have Dicker ranked. I think I need to redo my kicker rankings.
And I have Carlson at 24. So for me, it's McManus. It sounds like you had Jason Sanders ranked highest in yours.
I do. And the only other one that I would consider is Joseph, who I have at 13. But I think I'm going to go adjust my kicker rankings and move Sanders down to 11, which will boost McManus to 9. So that's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to do that right now.
The School of Crop says, cheers. Will Waller start? I think he's starting. It sounds like he's starting, so I'm going with Waller.
I agree.
And Antonio says, Pierce or Jamal Williams?
Man.
Jamal Williams for me.
I know I have Pierce ranked higher.
Touchdown upside sways it for me until I am proven otherwise that Pierce is more involved in the pass game, which I won't feel bad. I haven't been bad mouthing Pierce. It's just I just want to see him involved in the pass game before I start plugging him in my lineups or ranking him higher.
I do have Pierce at 18 and Williams at 20, but I had these in before Kendre Miller last night was basically ruled out, so I'm going Jamal Williams here as well. I do need to update those, but it's not going to happen before the game because we're going to be here all time. So
I have
Williams,
Pierce at 22, Williams at 28. I'll stick with Pierce. I think he catches passes despite what Bryce thought earlier, and those catches will sway him up.
Definitely possible.
Logan says flex 1, Terry McLaurin, Pittman, Sutton. I had McLaurin on this one. We've had McLaurin versus Pittman. Sutton's not even in the conversation for me, so I'm going McLaurin.
You probably
I would have Pittman third here, so McLaurin for me.
Pittman's still number 2 for me, but yeah.
Who the hell was Denver throwing the football to? You don't like Mims. You don't like Sutton.
Okay, but earlier you were talking about how you need to see Russell Wilson actually not suck. So
I didn't. When did I say that? I was talking about Deshaun Watson. I have no problem with Russell Wilson. I didn't say that. Did
maybe
I?
That was last night. Like maybe it was last night. Maybe it was one of the guys on the stream last night.
Oh, I might have said it though. I say a lot of shit. Like I don't know.
Literally, I just had a couple hours of sleep in between the two streams, so I could get them mixed up. So if I'm
I think Russ is okay, and I think Russ bounces back in that offense, and I think he has to throw the ball somewhere. So season long, I would have Pittman over Sutton, but I like Sutton this week without Judy and Mims being a rookie. And
so here's what I look at. And it's not just Russell Wilson improving, but this Sutton guy averaged like 2 fantasy points per game last year. And Judy missed some time. And I think they, at times they had Tim Patrick, who I think is maybe the best receiver in this receiver core. He has been the most productive when he's on the field. And that's an issue. I just don't know that Sutton's never been the guy that everybody wanted him to be. So I cannot put him ahead of Pittman, a guy that's been top 20 the past 2 seasons with what I think is still terrible quarterback play. So even if Anthony Richardson is a downgrade, how big of a downgrade is that? Maybe it's wide receiver 25, 28. So that's the way I look at it. I'm not saying that Anthony Richardson is a passing upgrade over those guys, but he can't be much worse than they were when you look at the collective of what Pittman's dealt with the past 2 years. And my biggest thing with Pittman is dropping from wide receiver 20 and 17 finishes last year to being drafted as the wide receiver 39 because of Richardson. It just seems like a big drop for what is not a big downgrade at quarterback in my opinion.
I think it's more than just Richardson, but I understand what you're saying. I think it's the style of the offense is dramatically going to change as well. It should, at least. Mark Andrews officially ruled out. No surprise.
Yep. I guess I should be updating this banner, but I'll do that in a minute.
That sucks. Can't do everything, man.
Everett or Waller, it's Waller. I think we all agree with that. Waller's supposed to play. If you can get Bellinger to back him up in case something happens and he is ruled out late, that's what I would do. But I'm not putting Everett in ahead of him if it looks like he's going to play. We were all on the same page on that one, right? I assume I moved past it pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm just checking. I think I have Waller as my top ranked tight end.
Yeah. Well, earlier Sully did say put in Everett instead if Waller's questionable,
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, but I think you guys swayed me on that one. I think you just roll with Waller and try the Bellinger backup if you need to. I have Waller ranked as my top tight end this week after Kelsey and Andrews have been breaking my heart everywhere.
Yeah, I would have to adjust mine because obviously the news that Andrews news was late, but I would have to say, tight end. I have Hawkinson, Pitts, Goddard, Ingram, Waller. I'm probably too high on Pitts. I probably switched with you there, Sully. I'm probably too high on him this week.
I have Pitts at 2.
So we're close. I think Hawkinson is up there, but I think all these guys are really close. From Hawkinson, Pitts, Goddard, Ingram, Waller, Kittle, Higbee. All those guys are really close, and then there's a gap for me.
That's my top 8. So.
Oh, our top 8's the same, just different order. Is that what you're saying?
I believe so. And I just looked. I have Dalton Schultz 9, so I should probably stop talking as much shit as I have earlier. So never mind.
I have him at 11. It's funny. We've been on the flipping side.
That's crazy.
Higher on him. But it's Pat Freiermuth and Njoku in between him, where you said you had him at 9. I have Freiermuth and Njoku, then Schultz. I have Dalton Kincaid at 12, so he's going to be my start here over Juwan Johnson.
15 and 16 in my rankings, and Kincaid's one spot higher, so I guess he's Kincaid for me too. I need to change that though. Juwan Johnson should be the start over Kincaid.
It's Juwan Johnson for me.
I have Olave though, so I don't want to start 2 Saints players. So be fine. I was thinking about this last night. So if you have Olave, or if somebody else has Olave and they're starting Olave, and you have Juwan Johnson, are you not going to start Juwan Johnson because somebody else is starting Olave? Like, why are we overthinking this? If you think they're good enough to start, it shouldn't matter if they're both on your team or if somebody else has one of them, right? Like that. I mean, I get it. It may give you your roster more risk, but if we think they're both good enough to perform in a week, it shouldn't matter if they're both on your team or not. That's the way I view it. But I'm also riskier than the majority, probably.
I think that you just try to score as many fantasy points in a week as you can, and I don't want to make it that simplistic. But if I can start 4 Bears and they're going to give me the most points in a week, I'll do it. I don't care who plays for who, to be totally honest.
You're still keeping an eye on the super chats, right?
Yep, I'm scrolled at the bottom, so we're good.
Just to remind everybody, if you just came in, we'd appreciate it if you hit that like, subscribe, notification bell so that you don't miss any of these shows. We're live every Sunday morning, and we're going to be live every Saturday night during the season. But if you ask a question in the chat, you only got to put it in there once. We go in order. Unless somebody throws in a super chat, they bump to the top, but then we get right back to the order that we were in, just so everybody knows where we're at. Johnny says, hi all, I'm in a pickle for running back half-point PPR. Do I start Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook, or Packers A.J. Dillon? I think we're all going Cook here, right?
I am, yep.
I am.
Easily.
Man, see, I hate this stuff because I'm going Jamal Williams, but it's the same one we had earlier.
Yep.
Still on Pierce.
So it was 2 Williams to 1 Pierce, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
IC says J.K. Dobbins or Rashad White. Got Jacobs and Kenneth Walker as my starting running backs. Sully, where are you going with this one?
I like Dobbins. I might actually start White and Dobbins and Jacobs and sit Walker here, but that's a whole other answer to a question that hasn't been asked. I will take Dobbins over White.
I may agree with what you just said, Sully, and Kenneth Walker would be my player on the bench.
I'm just worried about him, to be honest.
mean, like, look at the other guys really don't have competition for touches. I mean, J.K. Dobbins, obviously Lamar taking carries, but Kenneth Walker's got Zach Charbonnet, who I also agree with you guys. I think is just better than him. So, yep.
I have J.K. Dobbins at 14, Walker at 17, and Rachaad White at 25. So I'm going J.K. Dobbins here over White. And I just got to see, again, I agree. I think Zach Charbonnet is better than Kenneth Walker, but I do think it takes time. I don't think they come in and take the work right away.
Agree.
So I got to see it in that regard. So that's where I'm at. And Neil said, yeah, one of the three. Danil Sherburnen, Terry McLaurin, or Mike Evans. It's McLaurin for me. I've got him up there as a must start this week.
I think we're all in agreement on that one.
George Pickens or Deion Jackson in a PPR league. Anybody taking Deion Jackson over George Pickens? I hate the matchup for George Pickens, but I'm going George Pickens.
But
I'm a big fan.
See, he's playing San Fran, but like, who are San Fran? If San Fran has a weakness in their defense, wouldn't it be their corners?
Well, yeah.
Didn't they bring in some pretty good corners? I thought they did.
Even if that's the case, I do not trust Pickett under pressure, and I think the San Francisco is going to put on a ton of pressure.
Yeah, they're definitely going to.
George Pickens is somebody that needs the quarterback to have time to make his plays. That's why I think Deontay Johnson's so big this week, because it's got to be quick. It's got to get out of Pickett's hand really quick. But I am going Pickens here, despite that, because I just don't know about these Colts running backs yet.
I'm in agreement.
Oh, I'll go Pickens. I don't want to, but I will.
I mean, we talked about this.
Dudes.
Yeah, if it's a 1 QB, I mean, I'm going Evan Ingram here, healthy in the Jacksonville offense. I love Ingram this year. I think both of these guys could be top 4 tight ends on the year. I would look to trade one of them as well. But, I mean, with the questionable tag, just in case there's a late scratch, I will start Evan Ingram here. I have them back-to-back with Evan Ingram, one ahead of him in the rankings anyway. But I would have Waller. I would have had Waller higher if he wasn't, questionable all week. So this could go either way. But I'm going Evan Ingram. Sully.
I'm going to stick with Darren Waller just because I have him ranked as my tight end 1 this week, but I have Ingram at 5. Man, just how does Jacksonville throttle Indy this week is the question, right? So I think Calvin Ridley's heavily involved. I think Tank is involved. I think ETN is involved. I think it just spreads a little bit too much. And if Waller is on the field, I just see Daniel Jones locking on him as much as he possibly can. So I'll take the risk that Waller plays. And again, if you can backfill with Bellinger here, do it. But I'm going to stick with Darren Waller.
I think I'm going to stick with Darren Waller as well. I just think he gets absolutely peppered. This is a huge game for an in-division rival in a tough division. Like, I think that they're going to try and get Darren Waller on the field to try and win this game, and he's going to be a pivotal part of that. So I will also stick with Darren Waller.
I'm not going to put up a big argument against it. But I wouldn't
do is, it's close.
They're both.
What I wouldn't do in this situation is what you recommended. Now, if it was a backup other than Evan Ingram, then I would backfill with Bellinger. But in this case, I don't want to use another roster spot when I already have Waller and Ingram.
Yeah, that's a good point.
To pick up Bellinger. So if that really concerns you, then I would just go Ingram. But if you wait for Waller, I wouldn't give up a roster spot for Bellinger, considering this is probably a redraft scenario. and not enough spots. So that would be my only counterpart to that.
And if it's a dynasty question, Bellinger's probably already on a roster, so that makes that moot. So
true. Tanner says Brian Robinson, George Pickens, Van Jefferson, or Deion Jackson. I think we're all going to be in agreement with Brian Robinson here.
I certainly am.
I believe so. Yep.
Andrews did get ruled out, so we can, we know that's good, even though that's what we expect.
So definitely a good call.
Yep.
Definitely a good call.
Perfect.
Cutting edge, hard hitting fantasy advice here, folks.
Oh my gosh, we are getting caught up, guys. Can you believe it?
We're close.
Kirk Cousins or Geno Smith?
Kirk.
I think I'm going to go Geno here. I got to look at my rankings.
I have Geno 13 and Kirk 14, so I'm Geno's side as well.
Kirk at 8 and Geno at 9, so I'll stick with my guy.
I'll go Kirk. It's close.
I really like Geno Smith with JSN added into that offense and Charbonnet added to that offense. Man.
I probably contradicted myself earlier because I have Richardson at number 7.
Oh, yeah, you definitely did.
Yeah.
I'm at 13.
Where do you have Daniel Jones?
I have Daniel Jones at 12.
Okay, yeah,
I'm at 11.
You sat Richardson. You said sit Richardson over Daniel Jones.
It's funny though when you do rankings and then you start talking about them, how often you contradict yourself. Like I change my rankings while we're doing this show all the time.
Again, once I got through like Tua at 6, like the next grouping was all real close, all the way through Kirk Cousins at 14. Then there's a break with Rodgers. Like I think there's a pretty big separation between Kirk Cousins and Geno at 13, 14, and Aaron Rodgers at 15 for me. So a lot of these guys are in the same tier, and it's just like literally how I feel in the moment. It's
See, I have 2 at 12, and now I think I have them too low.
Dude, that I have Herbert at 5 and Tua at 6. That shootout could be reminiscent.
Herbert's
of
my
Baltimore.
3.
Could be reminiscent of that Baltimore Miami game last year where Tua and Lamar just went nutso. I could see that happen with Herbert and Tua right now.
Where do you have Lawrence?
I have Lawrence at 8.
Yeah, I'm at 10. I think I'm a little bit too high on the Cousins-Geno combo. I'm going to have to think about that one.
Joe Burrow was the tough one for me coming back from that injury.
I have him at 7.
I have him at 9. Watson 10, Prescott 11, Jones, Smith, and Cousins top 14.
We're pretty close when it comes to our QBs. Just I have Cousins and Geno where you have like Tua and Lawrence kind of thing.
The Lions were 2-0 in 2017.
Look at that.
Okay.
That was
good
before,
work.
That was
it's good
that
to have
was
a
before
research staff.
That was a year before we started working with Brad. So this is the first time that we've got to see Brad be happy.
After week 1.
After a week of football. So Jose
Did
Vega.
they make the playoffs that year?
No, they probably 2 and 14.
Like if they were 2-0, 2017. Can't remember that year.
Marco will tell us.
Get on,
they were
Marco.
also 1-0. They went 1-0 2 years in a row, 16 and 17. He says. So I'll pull that up.
Wow.
But Jose Vega says start 2 full PPR. Sutton, Evans, Thomas, Godwin. I think I have Thomas Godwin as my top 2 here.
That's who I'm going with.
Yep, I'm following suit.
Godwin, yeah, that's definitely who I've got as my top.
I'd have Evans 4th here.
Who was that other one? Sutton? No, I've got him ahead of Sutton for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see where I have Sutton. Wide receiver 34 is where I got him, and
that's not outrageous.
Well, I mean, I guess it's not as big of a difference. I have Evans at 33.
Yeah, well, it's one spot.
Yeah. Well, I kind of was forced. Like I was struggled putting Sutton up there because I had him at like 59 or something.
Oh my.
Dude just wasn't good last year. Y'all fellas look at the new Superflex mode on DraftKings. Thoughts on Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence stacks with likely at I have not looked at this yet. What is going on?
Superflex?
I have not looked at that.
I had no idea this even existed.
Me neither. And I already put my lineups in for this week, so I'm going to have to check that out for next week.
I haven't even looked at DFS. I'm
Mr.
too busy
Grapefruit,
losing in other formats.
I appreciate you letting me know. Okay, so just to talk about this, thoughts on Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence stacks with Likely at tight end. I think it depends on what tournament you're playing, because I think Likely is going to be a very popular pick. So if you're playing in big field stuff, cash game smash. I actually think I have him in my cash game. But I'm looking to pivot off of him if you're in bigger stuff. Like, I would still have some, like, depending on if I'm multi-entering or what, I would have shares of Likely. But I don't want to if I'm playing like a big field single entry, I'm going to go and differentiate there at the tight end position and probably use a Gerald Everett or Evan Ingram in my stacks with Herbert and Lawrence, and look for a cheaper play elsewhere. Probably what I'm going to do, but I'm not a millionaire DFS player either. GT Pop 1220 says Kupp and Gibbs for AJ Brown, Akers, and Kamara. Yes. I think at this point we don't even know if Kupp's going to play, when he's going to play. I will take AJ Brown, Akers, and Kamara easily here for Kupp and Gibbs.
Well, we know Kamara's back 1 week earlier than Kupp at minimum, right? Because Kupp's on IR.
Minimum, yes.
So he's gone for 4. I think we've just scratched the surface with what we saw out of Gibbs. AJ Brown is AJ Brown. Akers, I believe, is a little overhyped, but he's still going to be a volume-based one of the top guys. And yeah, I think so. I agree with you, Rick.
I would have to say, with 1 week already down for Gibbs, when Kamara's back, Gibbs and him are probably going to be pretty close in value, right? And then AJ Brown has more value than Kupp, so you're basically getting a bonus Akers. If you look at it that way. I mean, you do have to wait 2 weeks for Kamara, but week 3 on or week 4 on, I feel like you just get a bonus player here that you can start.
I think that's baked into the cost of this acquisition, the situation with Kupp and Kamara. So I think it's a pretty good deal. Man, Gibbs reminds me of Kamara, though. Like, just everything he does looks just like him in a way.
I just think that my thing with that situation is he's clearly better than Montgomery, but Montgomery is the type of player that Dan Campbell likes. He's that hard nose. He's gonna.
We just saw what he did with Williams last year. We just saw what they did with Jamal Williams last year, who was not really that great of a running back.
He's definitely. I mean, we got Duvernay in here, struggling. Pick one, RB, 1 flex, full PPR. So we need 1 running back and then a flex. So we got James Cook, Khalil Herbert, Mostert, Hopkins. Factors I consider: Bills tough matchup, Bears busy backfield, Dolphins starting LT out, Lattimore on Hopkins all game. I'm still going with Hopkins and Mostert here.
I am definitely on Hopkins and Mostert easily.
I think so. I do think that the Tavon Armstead out for Miami is a big deal, but I don't think it's big enough to make me change my mind here. I'm not worried about Lattimore on Hopkins either. If it was Mike Evans, I would be, but other than that, I'm not.
Yeah.
I agree. Thanks for the help. You guys are awesome. No, you are awesome. And if you've hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell today, you are awesome. Mostert, Connor, or Jamal Williams? PPR. I have Connor as my running back 15 this week. I'm going with Connor.
Connor for me as well. Could catch 8 to 9 balls.
Agree.
Ghosts. Sup, y'all? PPR flex. Do I go Javonte Williams, Marquise Brown, or Romeo Dobbs? I think Dobbs is going to be the third option here for most of us. On a pitch count today. I gotta look here, see where I have Williams.
I'm gonna go while you're looking. I'm gonna go with Javonte Williams. I don't look into all the hype that Sean Payton puts out there. He's been notoriously known for misdirecting people, even though he said Javonte Williams is going to have a significant role, and then he comes back and says Jaleel McLaughlin's going to have a significant role as well. I think Javonte Williams will be the main back. Russell Wilson will throw. I think he'll get utilized in both the run and pass game. I think he's a sneaky top 12 back this week.
I just don't think so. He's coming back from a serious injury, and we always see guys start slow when they come back from that injury. I'm going Marquise Brown here. I have him ranked as 51st overall, tons of targets, and I have Javonte at 78 overall as running back 28. And then, I mean, Dobbs, he's 99, but that was before I heard about the pitch count, so he would be outside my top probably 120, 125, so he's not even in the realm. Mamba says Scary Terry or Mike Thomas. I mean, let me mute.
I was going to. There you go.
I didn't know we could hear him when he took himself out.
Yeah, I know.
Now he's back.
There you go.
Scary Terry or Mike Thomas as the flex. I think we've had this one before. I went Scary Terry, but Mike Thomas isn't far behind. I would try to get both in my lineup. Sully?
I think I was McLaurin as well, but I agree. Get them both in there somehow.
Yeah, we all three were McLaurin.
DJ Duvernay says Isaiah Likely, Dulcich, Hayden Hurst, full PPR. I'm on Hayden Hurst in this one. I think we've already said that. I just think he might lead the team in targets today.
Yeah, we've had something similar. You both went Hayden Hurst, and I went Isaiah Likely.
You're likely wrong.
C-Dog says Komet or Likely. I think we had this one. I think you and I, Bryce, went Likely, and Sully went Komet here, right?
That is correct.
I did.
I will say that, again, I love Komet, and it looks like Tanyan might be out, which is a slight boost. I think Komet's going to be good anyway, but I'm going Likely here. Roman says full PPR, Kyle Pitts or Isaiah Likely now that Andrews is out. Thanks for the help, fellas. I'm going Kyle Pitts. I'm ready to be disappointed by it, though.
Yeah, I got to go Kyle Pitts here as well. I mean, you got to get him involved in your offense, right? I mean, you invested a first-round pick into him a couple of years ago, about 3 years ago. He's got to get more involved. He can't be utilized as a blocker as much as he was last year. He's got to go out on routes. He and Drake London need to be your main pass catchers. Sorry.
I think I'm one of few that like Desmond Ridder. I think he's going to be better than most people think. Kyle Pitts was used fine in that offense last year, but his catchable ball rate was ridiculously low. So I think he's going to be just fine. I don't care if Andrews is in or out. I'm Kyle Pitts here. He's my number 2 ranked tight end this week after Andrews and Kelsey were removed. So he'd have been 4 at worst. So Pitts for me. Dying on that hill.
You traded him to me, so the year you trade him would be the year he goes nuts. Thank you.
I actually traded all of my shares because another league I traded him straight up for Kelsey where I'm trying to win. So
absolutely.
We'll see.
All right. The School of Crop says Njoku or Ingram. And I think I already mentioned this, but I'm going Ingram here.
Yeah, I think I have Ingram at 5 or 6, so I'm Ingram as well. 5. I'm at 5.
Ingram for me rather easily.
All right. We got Javonte Williams or Chris Godwin. I think we just had this one maybe. I don't know. We've had so much Williams and Godwin. I don't know if they were in the same one or not, but I'm going Godwin here.
I think I am as well, and I think I was before. I got to see.
Did I go Godwin earlier or Javonte?
I think you went Javonte.
I might change my mind. When it's close? I might change my mind. Yeah, I might go Chris Godwin, even though I do think Javonte will be used more than most people think.
Who's Denver playing?
Oh, that was you took Javonte over Marquise Brown. That was the one
that
we just had a few minutes ago. So that was
Marquise
okay.
So
Brown and Javonte.
I'll take Chris Godwin over Javonte. I think it's close though for me.
Kittle is active, Marquise Brown is active, Thielen is active, and so is Zach Ertz for those desperate at tight end with all the things that have been happening this week.
I mean, he gets targeted a bunch, so I think he's playable. Marco from the future says in 2015 they started 0-5. Those Lions. You notice how Brad ran away after we started bringing up the historic insignificance of the Detroit Lions? Jackson or Dobbs?
This is JSN.
JSN by leaps and bounds and all that other stuff.
In no way, shape, or form am I super comfortable putting him in my lineup this week, but over Dobbs, absolutely.
Yes. Absolutely. Put it in the book.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a quick break here, guys.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just say this. I don't trust Pete Carroll at all. And he's playing without limitations, this, that, and everything else. He's going to be the number 3 wide receiver in that offense, at least to start the season. So he's going to be 3rd in the pecking order in targets, and he might even be 4th if you factor in tight end and running back and how they divvy it up. But I guess because Dobbs is limited and probably on a pitch count, I guess it's JSN, but I don't know.
See, your dogs don't even like it. See?
My dog's like, shut up, you're an idiot.
It's easily JSN.
Right? It is, but I don't like it very much.
Yeah. Scary Terry, Mike Thomas, Raheem Mostert. Who should I bench? I don't think we've had any Michael Thomas and Raheem Mostert in the same one. I think we can both agree we're putting in Scary Terry. Are you throwing in Michael Thomas or Raheem Mostert?
I'll bench Mostert here because I'm pretty high on Terry and I'm pretty high on Mike Thomas. And I don't think I think maybe one of the scenarios so far I've gone with Mostert. So he'd be my odd man out here.
I am in 100% agreement there. I like Mostert a lot this week. I just like Michael Thomas more. In 2011, the Lions started off 5-0.
No, they didn't.
Ertz reported as active. Would you start him over Waller, who is still questionable? No. Nope. There's no way, shape, or form I'm doing that.
And I do expect Ertz to do stuff, but Trey McBride will be relevant there too.
Right. We're caught up. It's, finally, 10 minutes before I have to go. But while we're caught up, go over a trade I made yesterday. I love capitalizing. So I'm already in a league, starting to this dynasty league, and it was a snake draft. They wouldn't do an auction, which is fine. But I've already basically somewhat thrown in the towel and started to acquire a bunch of picks for next year. I already have 5 first-round picks for 2024. With one of them acquired yesterday, I tried to go capitalize on the Cooper Kupp injury. Some of these guys might not be too well-versed in Dynasty, so I try and take advantage of that. So I traded him Calvin Ridley in a 4th rounder for Cooper Kupp in a 1st, and he accepted it. I was definitely expecting a counteroffer, and I'll more than likely, unless some magic happens with my roster, I will be turning around and flipping Cooper Kupp for more once that comes in. But I never
you did well.
I never get offers like that accepted for me. So I was pretty happy with it. Any trades you've made within the past week?
I'm trying to think of the last trade I made. Nothing of that magnitude.
You know what? What was our big trade? Let me pull it back up.
I'll find it. I'll find my last trade while you're doing that.
Yeah. While I do, you want to talk about this? This is your boy Mamba CB is asking how Jordan Addison will do this year. I have him on my bench. I'll just chime in real quick. I think I think he's the second best wide receiver on that team, obviously, and I think he'll eventually take over as that number 2 role. Obviously, he has essentially no path to become the alpha male wide receiver unless Jefferson somehow leaves after his rookie contract. But what do you think his upside? Do you think he has T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle like upside as number 2 receivers?
Higgins, Jalen Waddle upside. I think he has but I think he's close. I'm just trying to pull up what Thielen did in that offense last year because Thielen was targeted a lot and did very little with it. But so you say you have him on your bench. I think that's where he should be right now. I do think KJ Osborne is going to be a little bit more involved early in the season. Like Adam Thielen was targeted 107 times in the Vikings offense last year. And here's what I know about Minnesota, and it hasn't changed a lot. Defense is still not very good. Offensive coordinator / head coach wants to throw the ball a lot. This is it for Kirk Cousins. This is it for this legit offense. They're going to throw the ball a ton. Like if the Vikings are top 5 in the league in pass attempts, I wouldn't be surprised. Jefferson obviously is the top dog in that offense. I think TJ Hawkinson is going to be targeted significantly as well. But I think in the back half of the season, Jordan Addison could be a top 20 wide receiver in the league. I'm just not overly confident that he gets there before then. I just think that the rookie guy takes a little bit of time to adjust. And KJ Osborne, knowing the offense and being as solid of a wide receiver as he is, it's going to make it a little harder for Addison to get on the field consistently. So keep him on your roster, keep him on your bench, but keep an eye on him, especially going into the last half of the season. I think that's where he really takes off.
Mm-hmm. School of Crop, hit that thumbs up for 20% better chance at winning your games. He's right, guys. Hit that thumbs up, that notification bell. We do this every Sunday. We don't start at 9 a.m. every Sunday, but we do this every Sunday. Answer some start-state questions you guys are pondering.
Yeah.
Guadalupe Luna's asking a 2-part question here. Full PPR pick 1, Alexander Madison, James Conner, Mike Evans, or Mike Evans versus Minnesota, and then pick 1, Deshaun Watson or Geno Smith. We both James Conner? Or
yep.
Were you out? Okay, James Conner. And then are you going Geno or Deshaun?
Yep. I have Geno higher than Deshaun this week. I think
I'm going to agree with you. And I really like Deshaun Watson.
I'm worried about Deshaun Watson.
Tough game.
I could be so wrong about Deshaun Watson, but he's my 14th ranked quarterback this week, and Geno's my 9th. So I just
makes sense.
Geno's got weapons all over the place. Like
makes sense why you're worried about him, because that's what our trade was: is Pat Mahomes and Stephon Diggs for Deshaun Watson, Jerry Jeudy, DK Metcalf, Kyle Pitts. I tried trading DK Metcalf right after that, straight up for Jackson Smith and Jigba. They were not about it.
Really?
Yeah, they weren't. They didn't want it. Another 2-team ran organization like you. I hate those.
It's tough.
You gotta agree. You gotta agree for 2 people to make a trade.
It's tough.
Yeah.
The last trade I made actually was in that league as well. I got offered Daniel Jones for Brandon Ayuk, and I thought, what am I missing here? I'll take the quarterback pretty easily. So yeah, I did.
And then Mamba followed. What was his question that he asked? Oh, how do you feel about Jordan Addison? He's got OBJ as his wide receiver 3. Addison could easily take over as that wide receiver 3 option, just not right away. I really don't feel confident with OBJ either, but that could change because I do think he is the best wide receiver on that team as of right now, where Addison is looking like he's number 4 in the pecking order right now when it comes to all the pass catchers. At best, I see him as the number 3 option behind Jefferson and Hawkinson.
It's a tough one for me because I don't know what Baltimore's offense looks like. I think I have an idea of what they're going to do. I definitely think OBJ is the guy I would have in my lineup today. And then we'll see how that plays out after that. I just think like OBJ's got a better chance to score. He's got a better chance for targets. He's just got a lot of options for him. I really like Jordan Addison. I grabbed as much of him in my rookie drafts as I could. But yeah, I think OBJ is the guy right now until we're proven wrong.
Oh, he says he's got Devontae Smith as his number 1. Okay, so he's got Smith and Warren, Mike Thomas. Okay, so you're good at your top 3.
Oh, that's a good wide receiver room. You're fine.
Yeah. Let me ask you one. I've got for my super flex spot. Mac Jones, Kenny Pickett. Mac Jones or Kenny Pickett. I'm not going to throw in Odell or Jacoby Meyer. So it's one of those 2.
I'd probably go with Pickett. I think I have him ranked higher. I don't love the matchup this week, but I think he just throws the ball a hell of a lot more than Mac does. And
they're both terrible matchups. So
yeah, Eagles and Niners, right? So
right.
Those stink. But maybe the Niners beat the tar out of. Maybe the Eagles beat the tar out of the Patriots. Maybe there's garbage there, but I don't know.
You don't see the Patriots get destroyed often. It happens. I mean, the Bears did it last year to them to start their little kind of mid-season run, but there's definitely a path today to where they get beat by 3 scores. I mean,
your defense is still very good, so it can
Yeah,
slow the game down.
this is the first time in a while, though. I think our secondary has more questions than anything else. I think our front 7 are going to be like a lot of. There's not any stars outside of Judon, but there's just a lot of rotational guys that like they're just always fresh bodies on the D line, which is huge in stopping the run game, especially after the first quarter. So I think the run defense this year it improved last year from the year before, but I think we even see it being better. There's just a lot of youth in the secondary. You got Devin McCourty, who retired. So you got Jabril Peppers replacing him, who's not really a coverage corner. And then you got a lot of youth at cornerback outside of Jonathan Jones, who's been more of a productive slot corner than he has been like an X covering the X or Y throughout his career. So
yeah, I just think you guys would be better on offense. You have to be, right?
So can't be worse. I mean, really
right. So and that's sort of we'll answer this one, and then I'll give you my thoughts on Ramondre, why I was talking about him earlier after this.
One last question. Bijan, Gibbs, Dalvin Cook, and Mostert. He started Gibbs and only got me 10 points. How would y'all navigate the running backs? So if we're starting 2 more, I'm starting Bijan's easy, so you don't even have to ask him in there. But I'm probably putting in Raheem Mostert. Dalvin Cook does have a little bit of a more difficult matchup when it's going against the Bills stout defense.
Yeah, the Chargers' run defense the last couple of years has been absolutely atrocious. I think they were the worst in the league last year and one of the bottom ones the year before that. So I can't think of anything off the top of my head that really made any significant changes to that defense in terms of run stoppers. So I'm going to probably join you with the Mostert piece here. But, man, you got Bijan and Gibbs, and you probably spend a decent amount of draft capital to get those guys. Just keep running them out there. They'll reward you eventually. I like Dalvin, but if he was playing anyone with less of a prowess than the Bills defense, I would probably go him. But Mostert's in such a great spot this week. I know I haven't been on him much in these lines of questions, but I'm definitely going to be on him here.
More question. Brandon Cooks, Jahan Dotson, Marquise Brown, Gabe Davis, pick 2. We're both on Jahan Dotson here.
Yes.
And it's Marquise Brown for me.
Yeah, it's between Brown and Cooks for me. I think Brown probably gets more targets, so I'll go with him as well.
Yep, I agree. Could be Cooks here soon. And we're caught up again.
And you got to bounce here, don't you?
Yeah, here in a couple of minutes. I'm not in any rush. One more question for me. JSN, Juju, Jacoby Myers.
I initially think it's Jacoby Myers, but I don't know what the hell the Raiders are going to look like. I don't think it's JSN yet. So I think it's probably I just don't think Seattle's going to have to throw the ball a ton to beat the Rams. I think they can run the ball, control the clock, put up 20-something points easy in the first half, and then just roll the rest of the way in that one. Jacoby Myers is probably the one that I like the most, but I just don't know what he's doing. So with the fear of the unknown, I'll take Juju because I do think Juju's going to see a significant number of targets in the middle of the field and close to the line of scrimmage for the Patriots today and all season long, as long as his knee holds up.
Yeah, he is pretty good after the catch too. So that's what he thrives in, his PPR value. So I'll switch that because I did have JSN in there, but I don't feel too confident. Darren Waller or Evan Ingram, and I think we had this earlier and we all went Waller.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken,
we did,
or at least you and I did. I think Rick might have went.
I think he might have. Yeah,
and then
just
Mike
because of the fear of the unknown.
Somebody woke up, and then Mike Evans or Keenan Allen, and I think we're going to be pretty unanimous on this one with Keenan Allen
by a really large margin for me.
Are you awake?
We took the headband off and we got a bandana. That looks pretty cool.
That's her little bib cloth. He just woke up from a nap.
Oh yeah, she's sleepy. That's awesome.
You out of it?
She's like, why are you still wearing that crap, Dad?
Yeah.
Why are we still wearing this shitty clothing? Why are we still Patriots fans? What's wrong?
We like misery.
Right?
Like misery now, moving forward. All righty. Well, Rick is back. I'm gonna head out, guys. I gotta go take care of the livestock while the in-laws are on their vacation.
All right.
I
Thank you
literally
so
was fixing this banner and it didn't update.
Aw.
It still says all the same stuff. You know
Okay.
what? You know what I'm gonna do here, because this
You got time. You got time. We got no questions. So
here's
Well, you just got
my
you
Raheem
just-
Mostert piece, Ramondre Stevenson piece really quickly.
yeah.
Excellent running back, great pass catcher, rock solid between the 20s, struggles at the goal line. I just think that a lot of the Mac Jones, like how many times we saw Mac Jones come off the field last year, freaking out, yelling at anybody who would listen to him. He targeted Raheem Mostert a lot of the times because he had no other option. He just had to get rid of the football. I keep saying Mostert, Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah.
And Stevenson benefited, and he's a great pass-catching running back. I just think with O'Brien in there, with Juju there, even Gesicki there, a better orchestrated offense, Mac Jones is going to have some actual plays to execute and throw the football other than to Stevenson. So, and Stevenson pretty much had no one there last year. Harris was hurt for the majority of the season. Ty Montgomery was an afterthought. Strong. We know what they think of Strong and Harris. So Zeke will be relevant in that offense. And I think that Zeke could score up to 12 times in that offense this year. So I think Ramondre has to.
Zeke would not surprise me if Zeke had some sort of like LeGarrette Blount-esque.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that hurts Ramondre in my eyes. Still a top 24 running back for me, but he came out of my top 12 season-long rankings because of all that.
Yep. I understand. All righty, guys. I'm out of here. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys next week. All right.
Yeah, man. Thanks for this morning. Good luck with the livestock.
Later, guys. Yep. Good luck.
Later. I'm going JSN here easily over Quentin Johnston.
So I've been against JSN in every question we've had so far because I just think it's too soon to tell. But it sounds like Josh Palmer is going to start over Quentin Johnson. So it's JSN for me for sure. Johnson will get there, but he's not yet.
To go back to the one when I first came in, I'm going Evan Ingram and Keenan Allen here. Is that what you guys?
We thought that's
right?
where you were. We were. So we were Waller and Allen, but we thought you were Ingram. So yeah, you clarified that.
Is Breece Hall too much of a risk? I have James Conner and CMC starting today.
Start those two.
Yeah, I'm definitely starting those two. I've CMC as my number one overall player this week with a close second from Justin Jefferson. And James Conner is my running back 15 on the week. So I'm definitely going with those two guys.
I have CMC at 1 as well overall.
Overhaul?
Overall.
Oh, overall. Oh, I was like, overhaul? Duh. Thanks,
four
John.
Four running backs and then Jefferson. McCaffrey, Eckler, Barkley,
really?
Bijan, then JJ.
Yeah, I go CMC, then Justin Jefferson, then Eckler, I think is who I've got here overall. Yeah.
Any one of those
McCaffrey,
guys,
Jefferson, Eckler. I have Tyreek Hill at number 4.
Oh, I like that
Jamar
call.
Chase at 5. And then Saquon, Devontae Adams at 7. People think I'm crazy, but I'm going with Devontae Adams, the guy that is quarterback proof and a monster target hog. I would be interested to see where you've got him. I have him right ahead of Stephon Diggs and CeeDee Lamb.
Adams, 22 overall, behind A.J. Brown, but I had him behind Gibbs, so he probably jumps that. Yeah. Actually, I'm looking at the wrong list here. Hang on one second. Go ahead.
No, I go Adams, Derrick Henry, Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, Josh Jacobs, Nick Chubb, Bijan, Garrett Wilson, then A.J. Brown.
Sorry, I'm wrong. I was looking at non-PPR rankings that this site that I do it on just kicks it into. So I have Eckler 1 overall, then McCaffrey. But I have Adams at 25, so even lower. So I probably would adjust that if I was going to. I know he's quarterback proof, but I'm so confused with that offense.
Joey needs us to pick 2 out of Raheem, Breece, and Javonte. I'm going Raheem and Javonte here, I think.
Me too. I don't want anything to do with Breece Hall right now.
I do have Breece ahead of Javonte in my rankings, but that was before more news came out that Dalvin should be heavily involved, which would make Breece a more risky play. But I think Breece and Javonte both are pretty risky, but I will go with Raheem and Javonte. Raheem is the safest play of the week out of those three. And I also have him lower in my rankings than he would be now, knowing that A-Chain is out.
Yeah,
Mike Smith says, I need two players. Who should I start? Chris Godwin, DeAndre Hopkins, Dameon Pierce, or Jahan Dotson. We need to pick two out of these guys. I'm going with Godwin and Hopkins.
I'm going to go with Dotson, who I've been on all day, and Hopkins.
And that catches us up. So while we're waiting to see if anybody else drops in here, we'll stick around for a little bit to see if it picks back up. Obviously, we've been rolling since 9 a.m.
Good one.
It's been good, but I need to make sure my lineups are set. So I'm gonna go over here to my fantasy league. Ooh, I even got to get to sleeper because Mark Andrews and my Scott Fishbowl lineup obviously needs to be removed.
I got some guillotine leagues that are really looking terrible. I mentioned earlier I have Kelsey and Andrews on one. That one's looking pretty shitty. And then I have another one that I have Andrews and Cup. So that one took a kick in the teeth. Like I have to start Nico Collins in that one. But I have Justin Fields, so I need your boy Fields to put up a 50 burger today to keep me alive. So
I'll explain in just a second why I need Justin Fields to have a good day. We'll talk about that here as soon as we know. But I am in the Front Yard Fantasy Listener League.
Nice.
That they put together for people that bought their draft guide. Had Patrick Mahomes go the other night. I've got Nick Chubbs, Cam Akers, Deontay Johnson, Keenan Allen, Dameon Pierce, Antonio Gibson, and David Njoku as my other starters this week. Am projected for the most points out of everybody. So I should make it through this week, but you never know if a bunch of duds go by. So I think everybody in my lineup's playing that week. And let's go to Polly's playoff. Sleeper's not loading. That's awesome. An hour before game time.
It's been sluggish this last week or so. I'm a little worried about it.
Okay, so my Scott Fishbowl lineup did come in. I've got Deshaun Watson, Dalvin Cook, Najee Harris, T. Higgins, Drake London, Amari Cooper, Mark Andrews out. Marquise Brown, Khalil Herbert, Anthony Richardson, and Young Ho Koo in my starting lineup. So now we need to find out if I even have – I got to play Logan Thomas or Michael Mayer at tight end.
Probably go Logan Thomas. At least he's done it once or twice before. Like, do you think Mayer's the guy or do you think Hooper's the guy?
I think Hooper definitely could be the guy start the season, but I do think that switches. So I am going with Logan Thomas there, but that stings. Mark Andrews was a big part. He was obviously my number one pick in that league. So him being out is dirty.
Hopefully it's only 1 week.
We got questions in here. So we got Marco from the future says Higgins, Kirk, Dobbs, Zay Jones, Myers, or Claypool start three. Higgins is obviously in. Kirk is obviously in, right? I'm probably going Myers as my number 3 here.
Higgins for sure. Kirk for sure. If Dobbs was healthy, he would probably be my answer. If Zay played anywhere else, he might be my answer. But I think it's Myers too. And when you were on break there and Bryce and I were talking about Jacoby, I really like him. I'm just really confused. I have no idea what this Raiders offense looks like, but they brought him in there for a reason. He's probably him and Renfro get a lot of targets with Garoppolo's proficiency or desire to throw the ball 8 to 10 yards at most. So I'm going to go with Myers as well. I don't really like it, but I think that's where I got to go. It's not Claypool. I'm really down on him personally.
Brian McDonald says, need 2 wide receivers for my 3rd wide receiver spot and my flex. Out of the following, Deontay Johnson, Michael Thomas, or Tyler. Holy hell, Brian. You drafted really, really well.
Hell, your top 2 wide receivers.
Yeah, I'm going Deontay and Michael Thomas, though. I have them as 18 and 24. Tyler, actually,
I think I'm Lockett and Thomas here. I love DJ, but I think, I have to look at rankings. But, man, that's hard.
I actually have Lockett as 23 and Thomas 24, so it's close. It's pick your poison really there.
Lockett's in for sure for me. It's between Thomas and DJ for me, and I'm not sure. I think I go without looking at my rankings. It's probably going to be Johnson and Lockett for me, but man, I need to see the rest of that roster.
Yeah, no joke. You should be winning here. Yeah, I'm going Deontay and Lockett, but Thomas is literally 1 spot behind. These are literally my 20, 23, and 24 receivers here.
Well, now I need to look.
Griff says, likely Okonkwo, Taysom Hill, Gesicki on free agent. Who should I pick to replace Mark this week? Out of these, I'm taking likely myself.
Yep,
you're on board?
Yep.
Mike Smith says, who should I start at flex? Dotson, Cook, Dalvin Cook. Oh, wait, no. James Cook or Ayuk. I just want to say I'm enjoying your show, boys. Keep up the good work. Mike, we appreciate that. We love everybody that tunes in. It's very important to us, and it means a lot. So thank you very, very much. Let's see. I know it's not Cook for me.
It's Dotson for me.
It's Ayuk for me. I have him as wide receiver 27. Dotson as wide receiver 35. So I'm going with Ayuk here.
Yeah, I'm Dotson at 25 and Ayuk at 29. That one before, I'm Lockett 22, MT 26, DJ 28. So I guess my answer is Lockett and Thomas.
Lockett and Thomas. Yeah, so I think it's fine to
together
go.
though.
Yeah, they're all close, but it's that's a tough one. Would you start Van Jefferson over Dotson, Ayuk, or Mike Williams? No, I'm going Mike Williams, Ayuk, Dotson, then Van Jefferson.
Dotson, Ayuk, Williams, Jefferson.
He said it is full PPR.
That's why I have Williams where I do.
Dobbs or Jaden Reed. If these are the only options, you got to go with the healthy body. And Jaden Reed, Dobbs looks to be on a pitch count. I don't love either.
Agree, 100%.
King Alexio says, which 2 should I start? Deion Jackson, Breece Hall, or DeAndre Swift? Where do I have Swift?
This might get Hall in one of my lineups.
Yeah, I'm going Hall here.
Hall and Swift for me.
Hall and Swift. Deion's not in the question for me. Harish says, Jaden Reed, Zay Flowers, or Mingo, PPR. This is easily, and I think we're both going to be on this one, Zay Flowers.
Easy. Who'd you have second?
Probably Mingo.
Okay. I think they're both close, so I was just wondering.
Yeah, they're close. I can actually tell you. Let's see. Where do I have Mingo? I have Mingo at wide receiver 48. Reed at 49.
There you go.
And then just to check, we have Zay Flowers at 40, but I'm higher on him than 40, I will say, because I just want to see it though. We've heard all the hype, and I've said it with the Jahan Dotson stuff. The hype's there, but is the production going to be there? Same thing with Flowers. I want to see it.
Like all 3 of those guys could have 2 catches.
Yep. Alex,
but I think
also. Go ahead.
I just think what Flowers will do with those 2 catches versus the other 2 puts him in the lead. He's got the upside.
I do feel like he's going to have more than 2 catches, though.
I
Definitely
do too.
In this realm of possibilities, though.
Just his ability with the ball in his hands.
Musgrave, I'm assuming this is Gerald Everett, and it's easily Everett for me at tight end.
Yep.
Dalton Schultz or Luke Musgrave? Dalton Schultz, easy for me. I'll say this again. Like, Luke Musgrave may have a good rookie year for a tight end, but this first game is a tough one, obviously, in a rivalry game. Bears coverage of tight ends is probably going to be one of the top in the league this year with their new linebacker core and Kyler Gordon as the nickel. I think they're going to be pretty tough on tight ends this year. So I don't want to start a rookie in his first game in that matchup. If I
Rookie tight ends, man.
Yeah, rookie tight ends are already tough, but
like
I will say.
Go ahead, man.
No, I was just gonna say, we've seen with Laporta, we may see tight ends being used more early in their career, just with the way the NFL is changing. So that is definitely possible. So
it was interesting though, because Laporta didn't start, and Laporta didn't really see a target until about midway through the second quarter, and he looked good. Like, I think he's going to be just fine. But I think there's a difference between Laporta and Musgrave, and I understand Musgrave's athletic and he's fast and he's all these other things, but I wouldn't expect much out of him in his first season.
What are your favorites for the Super Bowl this year? I mean, I think if I look back at my power rankings, I don't have them up right now. I have Philly number 1. I think they're just the best roster in football.
I think I'll have the Bengals in the AFC and either the Eagles or the Niners in the NFC. I know that's pretty chalk, but I think KC's got some holes they got to fill. I don't think Buffalo's going to be as good as they were, and they're going to have a much tougher road in division than they ever have in the last 3, 4, 5 years. I think the Bengals are legit. My only concern with Cincinnati is the back end. Their secondary is brand new and pretty young, but I think Burrow and that offense can offset that pretty easily. And yeah, it's the Eagles, the Niners, and then a whole bunch of mediocrity in the NFC, in my opinion. So that'd be my choice.
Listen, the Chargers.
I like them. I think there's a chance of that. I also think there's a really dark horse chance that the Jags could be a really relevant team this year. So the AFC has about 14 teams that I could make an argument for, and the NFC has 2. So yeah, I don't even think there's 14 teams in the AFC. But then,
I think I'll take the Chargers. They were my pick last year. They look good on paper a lot of years and then disappoint, but I'm gonna go with them.
I like that one.
Likely or Everett?
Everett for me.
I'm probably going Everett. I have him at 25, and I love that game. I love that over-under there. So,
yeah, Everett at tight end 25?
15.
Oh, I thought you said 25.
No, 15. Pick 1, full PPR, Van Jefferson, Brandon Cooks, Marquise Brown, Javonte Williams. This is Marquise Brown for me.
It is for me too, purely based on he probably gets 15 to 16 targets today.
Thanks, guys. I just picked up Thomas off the waiver wire with 21 fab.
Cool. I'm not sure which Thomas that is, but I hope it works out.
If that was Michael Thomas, great pickup. Afternoon. Thanks for your time this morning. I need 2 non-PPR. Deontay Johnson, Elijah Moore, Breece Hall. Thanks again. Even though this is non-PPR, I'm going Deontay Johnson and Breece Hall.
Yeah, I think so.
I gotta see Elijah Moore first before. I mean, this dude's another one that's been hyped every year he's been in the league, and I gotta see it first.
Elijah Moore's an interesting cat because he had like 4 good weeks, and that's it. DJ Chark also had 4 good weeks, and that's it. And they're not in the same sentence, paragraph, or book. So I like DJ. I think Breece is okay enough here to do more than Moore this week. So that's where I'm going to go.
Moore could come out and be a big part of that offense. We just don't know.
Breece Hall could score 2 touchdowns, right?
When players leave the Jets, there's always a potential that they're better.
Yeah. And man, like,
unless you're Denzel Mims.
I don't know. I think the Bengals are I think it's Cooper that beats the Bengals more than Moore that beats the Bengals based on their current defensive structure. But I don't know.
And Cooper's just way better, but we're on the same page.
And Chubb just goes crazy because
It is a tough decision. I appreciate your input. Thanks, gents. That's my team in a 12-teamer. By the way, my starting 2
Amon-Ra, Tyreek.
Yeah.
So he has Amon-Ra,
Oh,
Tyreek. I can't remember who the other ones were, but that's nuts.
Yeah, Deontay Johnson, Michael Thomas, Tyler Lockett. So Tyler Lockett, one of those guys is your wide receiver 5. You're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, you could have Rick and I at running back in your contender.
Yep. Justin Watson, an option for Dynasty. I think he should be rostered in Dynasty, but he is going to be that Michael Evans-esque. And I said, don't say that as like skill wise, but like he's going to have some games where he gets a couple deep bombs. You know, he could have had another big bomb if he, you know, there's passing interference called on the play when he got pushed in front of the ball. So, you know, and there was the one was close to a touchdown. So he could have big weeks, but he's also going to have weeks where he only scores, 3 points. That's just going to be the up and down nature of him until he gets a full-time role in that offense, if that happens. But he should be rostered for sure.
Yeah, if your dynasty leagues are as deep as the ones that Rick and I play in, there's a lot worse that we have on our rosters than Justin Watson. The challenge for me is when the heck do you start Justin Watson? So I would roster him, and if he does have a week where maybe he catches 4 or 5 for 60 and 1 or 2, I'm going to try to get him off my roster as fast as I can. But yeah, definitely needs to be on rosters.
Oh, nobody being the conductor of the Jets hype train? I mean, I think the Jets could be good. I think we just have to see it first. Like, I mean, they did. It's basically what Tampa Bay did a few years back with bringing Tom Brady in, right? And changing the culture. And I think Aaron Rodgers does change the culture of the Jets. But it's still one of those things where he could fall off a cliff at any point. He's on the wrong side of 40.
That's just it. Like, Hard Knocks does an excellent job of making teams look good. They made the Browns look good with Hugh Jackson when they were on the show,
people
right?
Were so hyped for that.
But I'll tell you, Garrett Wilson looks like holy crap. And after that, though, I don't really like what their pass core or their receiving core looks like. Like Bryce and I talked about this a little bit earlier. I just don't love their wide receivers. Their defense is unreal, so I'll give them that. Like Sauce will like ruin people's careers in some weeks, and their front is amazing. But the question mark to me is Aaron Rodgers, and is Aaron Rodgers even remotely close to the back-to-back MVPs, or is he more the guy that kind of fell off a cliff last year? But I guess my biggest problem with Hard Knocks is it almost made me like Aaron Rodgers a little bit, and that really pissed me off. So I don't know. I think the Jets are good. I don't think they win that division, but they're a playoff team. And after that, who knows what can happen? But I'm not buying that the Jets are a lock for Super Bowl contenders, especially in the AFC. Not a chance.
How you guys doing? I'm in a 10-man 2QB league. I need a flex this week. Devonta Smith or Olave. I have Jay Jets, Lamb, and Chase. I mean, holy hell.
These guys and their wide receivers, man.
So what? I was getting ready to talk about a league I have where I have 4 pretty decent wide receivers, but this is crazy. I'm going Devonta Smith over Olave for now.
I have Olave at 10 and Smith at 14 this week, so flip a coin, man. I would.
I might have to take that back.
I have AJ Brown at 6. I'm just trying to think of what else I got going on in those two offenses. I like Hurts obviously more than Carr. I think the Eagles score more points than the Saints. I got to go Smith over Olave, even though my rankings say that I should.
My rankings say different too. I have Olave at 10 and Smith at 13.
So we're almost the same. I have Smith at 14 and Olave at 10, but I think I might have to flip them.
Yeah,
I should have Waddle ahead. I have Waddle at 11.
You can't really go wrong here.
I have DK way too high. I need to move him.
Yeah, I'm okay. So I might be going Olave. I think I have Olave too high with Michael Thomas back, but
I think I do too. I'm going to back them, but I'm going to put Smith one spot ahead.
Yeah, I'll go Olave. They're so close, man. They're interchangeable. It's a flip a coin thing. That's probably what I would actually do if I was in this situation. I'd probably flip a freaking coin. But
and I know this is an easy thing to say, but to this fantasy manager and the one before with Tyreek and CD and all those guys, surely you can trade one of these wide receivers to upgrade somewhere else on your roster, unless And I get a 10-man team or 10-team league. It's going to be a little bit better rosters. And this is still a great lineup. Even if in an 8-team league, this is a great wide receiver room. Surely you can upgrade your tight end or your quarterback or your running backs with these wide receivers.
Yeah, that's disgusting. You have 3 of my top 8 this week, 5 of my top 13. That's stupid.
Okay, Smith is now at 12 and Olave is now at 13 for me.
Dalton Kincaid or Chig this week in PPR. I have Dalton Kincaid as my tight ends 12. I'm gonna stick with it for this week. I need to see Chig with the new wide receiver group they got there get action first. I think Kincaid is going to get action for the Bills.
Yeah, like Sauce is probably gonna upset Diggs quite a bit this week, and it's not like the other corners on the Jets are terrible either. So Gabe Davis is going to struggle. Man, it's a tough matchup for Buffalo this week. I think Josh Allen is in tough, even though I have him ranked high. So I'll go Kincaid here because I think they need him. I think the volume of the passes will be there, that he'll get enough to do more than Chig will, because I don't see Chig getting targeted more than 3, maybe 4 times in this game. So he has to score like most tight ends to do it, but I'll go with Kincaid.
All right. Raghav says ETI and flex.
ETN?
Is that ETN flex? Likely or Ingram? I'm going Ingram.
Same.
Kirk or McLaurin? I'm going McLaurin. So I'm Ingram and McLaurin, and it's pretty easy for me on this one.
And I think he's got the ETN and flex there because kind of what we talked about before about players on the same team. Really, if you think they're going to score fantasy points, if you think they're going to score fantasy points, I wouldn't get away from that.
Yep, absolutely. I'm going Ingram and McLaurin there.
Me too.
By the way, thank you very much for the super chat. And just so everybody knows, we do go in order. Unless you super chat, you get bumped to the front of the line. We got to back up here to Brady. And again, Raghav, I hope I'm saying that right. If I butcher your name, I don't mean to disrespect anybody, but I'm not perfect in that regard. Brady Osborne or Mike Evans? This is easily Mike Evans for me. Like I like Osborne, but I'm going Mike Evans here.
And I don't like Mike Evans, and I do like KJ Osborne, but I think the situations play out here. It's got to be Mike Evans. KJ Osborne will be involved, but not to that extent.
Different league, Komet or Musgrave. This is easily Komet. Again, I do not want to play Musgrave if I have another option. Komet.
I agree.
Marco from the future says 26 men deep is that roster. Yeah. Sometimes I wish our rosters were only 26 deep.
Yeah, what are mostly like 28 plus a 5 or 6
30
taxi?
to 35. Yeah, 30 to 35 is our typical dynasty.
But 26, I think Watson should still be on 26 team or 26 rosters for sure.
Who was that?
I think we were talking about Justin Watson there, and I think even in 26 team or 26 roster players in a 12-teamer, he should still be on a roster.
Yeah, it'd be pretty close for me. He's right on the fringe of a 26 roster probably.
I got some really shitty players on some rosters that I would love to trade for Justin Watson.
Drew D says Kirk, Thielen, or Gabe Davis. This is easily Christian Kirk for me.
It is.
Dame says, lastly, Mike Evans, Brandon Cooks, or A.J. Dillon for the flex this week.
I think I finally got to answer Brandon Cooks to a question. I'm really worried about Mike Evans as that, like with Baker. And Dillon, I think, is not the option.
Yeah, Dillon's down there. Lastly, Mike Evans for me. Mike Evans for me. Marco from the future. The Browns sucked so bad that year they were hard knocks.
Yeah, it's like Hugh got canned and Baker took over as a starting quarterback midway through that year.
Waiver wire has Jake Ferguson and Hunter Henry. Let's see. That was Komet or Musgrave. I like Jake long term, but I'm still going Komet.
I am too, but if you were desperate and needed a tight end, I would pick up Jake for this week.
Yep. Loving the stream so far. How are we feeling about Jahan Dotson or Jamal Williams? I'm super high on Jamal Williams for this week. He's just going to get a ton of work. There's no other backs. Tony Jones Jr., I think, is back to being the backup there. who has just been dropped off of every roster that he's been on since the last time he was on the Saints. So Jamal's going to get a ton of work this week. I love him. I like Jahan Dotson. I don't love Jahan Dotson. I think he is going to be a boom or bust. He's perfect. He could have been on the cover for this week with as many questions as we've got about him. I think he's boom or bust. Don't hate him, but I think he's the second best receiver by a wide margin with Terry McLaurin there in Washington. So that's how I feel about him.
I pretty much said Dotson to everything so far that's come across the screen this morning. And I'm staying there. I really, really like him and really like specifically this week. I can't really come up with much of an argument against Jamal Williams other than he's not a very good running back, but you don't have to be a very good running back if you're the only one that's going to get the ball. The only thing that might hurt Jamal Williams is at the goal line. We might see that Taysom Hill garbage, so he might lose out there. But no, how does he not get 16 to 20 touches in this game? So I think you're good both ways. I'm probably a little too high on Dotson. I like him that much, but I just really like him.
So here, before we move on, and I'm sorry to skip the line, but I have to get my lineups in, and I have a question that I can't decide on, right? So I've got Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, Diggs, Hill, Lockett, Olave in my starting lineup right now with Evan Ingram as my number one tight end. My decision is Ben Skoranek, who gets some targets without Kupp around, Hayden Hurst, or Chig Okonkwo.
I think I'd go Hayden Hurst.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't really trust Skoranek, and I think if it was just down between those two tight ends, I would be on the I'd be opposite of Chig. I just don't think Chig gets volume.
I'm going to need Leonard Fournette to get on a roster, or Ty Chandler to take over for Madison, or Sean Tucker to take over for
I need Fournette to get a flipping job. Big time.
That roster, it's good. I'm top heavy. I got Jalen Hurts at quarterback in that too. But like the last spot in that lineup is going to be tough on a week-to-week basis. Okay, so let's get back to the school of crops. Is Wilson or Richardson QB? I'm going Richardson over Russell Wilson.
I have it ranked that way, so I'll say yes. 13 and 16, I believe, for me.
Nav S says Kirk, DJ Moore, Tyler Lockett in the flex. Which one are you going with, Sully?
I got DJ Moore higher than anyone here, so I'll go with Moore. I would go Moore, Lockett, Kirk here, and I like all three.
Oh, cool. I started Sam Laporta in the league this week. Just remembered. I'm going DJ Moore here. He's my wide receiver 16 on the week.
I like him a lot.
For every time Ricky butchers a name, he has to wear a Packers jersey for 10 minutes on the next stream. Somebody's got to buy it before I make
I'd quit before I do that.
My money will not be spent on a Green Bay jersey, so that's got to be supplied, Marco.
I'm sure Custer has about 14 you could try.
Fuck Custer. It's Packers Day, baby. He's been my best friend for 20-some years, but
I love that guy.
Who do I start at running back today? Rashad White, Najee Harris, Kenneth Walker, or Raheem Mostert? Pick two, full PPR. Najee Harris and Raheem Mostert for me.
I am White and holy crap. I think I'm going to be White and Mostert here.
Here's another one for you. Do I start Jamal Williams over DK Metcalf? No, never mind. I know who I'm taking out here. Never mind. Disregard. I'm taking JSN out for the first week, even though I think he's going to be better.
So we talked about that when you were on a break, Bryce and I, that I do like JSN long-term, but I don't think Seattle needs to throw the football very much today to beat the Rams. So I would go DK over JSN as well.
Let me hit this next lineup. Okay, so we got 26 plus 5 taxi squad. So he has 31 and then 5 IR. So if he doesn't have anybody on IR, 31 roster. Yeah, Watson needs to be on a roster there.
Yep.
Addison or Flowers?
Man. Dynasty-wise, I had this option in a few drafts, and I took Addison every time. Redraft-wise, I would probably be on Flowers. This week, I would have Flowers ahead of Addison. I like Addison a lot long-term.
So I did have Addison ranked 3 spots ahead of him at wide receiver. That was before Mark Andrews being ruled out. With Mark Andrews out, I'm going to have him going ahead of him. So I am going with Flowers in that as well. Michael Thomas, Scary Terry, or Chris Godwin at the flex for Riley. I got Scary Terry up in the top 18, so I'm going Scary Terry here.
Michael Thomas, Scary Terry, Chris Godwin. I'll go with McLaurin as well.
School of Crop said Hurst to my question here a minute ago. McLaurin or London? McLaurin again for me, Rico. McLaurin, I love McLaurin, man. I love McLaurin too, as much as he loves Jahan Dotson.
Yeah, I think I might change my mind here, but I'll stay with Terry. I just think Washington just lights up Arizona today. That's my biggest driver behind all of this, but I like London a lot too. But yeah, I will go with Terry.
Michael Thomas, Mostert, or DeAndre Swift in the flex. I'm going Michael Thomas.
I'm joining you in that.
Excuse me. And Michael Thomas again for Callum.
Oh, Michael Thomas by quite a bit here for me.
Also, we smoking the Bears today. Riley, I'm answering your questions wrong from now on.
Riley. Might have to. I like every fan, obviously, but Riley might have to go.
Yeah, I don't know about this guy. Start Michael Thomas or Devonta Smith. This one's Smith for me.
Yes.
School of Crop says LOL. I don't remember which Ricky bashing that got the laugh on that one, but
one of my awesome jokes, one of the two.
Andre says Happy New Year, fellas. Dotson or Jamal Williams in half PPR.
Dotson.
I'm going Jamal Williams here.
Yep. I'm just gonna die on that Dotson hill this week.
That's fine. Thomas or Ridley for the flex. See, this is a good one. I gotta check this one. How much time do I have? 23 minutes. I got to get these rosters set. I
got to do my rankings and my rosters, so we got to pound through these things.
Ridley. I have Ridley ahead of Thomas.
I do.
Ridley as my wide receiver 14.
I'm at 15, so it's Calvin for me.
Brady says, "Thanks for the help, y'all." Skull.
Attaboy.
By the way, guy on the left, go Pack, go. I hope you're looking forward to Jordan Love being your new father. Alex.
So I told Custer that with the way my luck goes, Jordan Love will be a Hall of Fame quarterback just so I can it'd be the perfect scenario, right? Favre goes, Rodgers comes in. Finally got rid of Favre. I was happy, and then Rodgers was what he was. Jordan Love will probably be great just to piss me off.
Don't bring this fucking juju in, Sully, or else
it's there. The juju's there. Fine.
No.
Alex gotta go hang out with.
We're not putting that into the universe.
I think Alec and Riley got to find a different chat. Just saying.
Brian Robinson or Dobbs? This is Brian Robinson. Fairly easy for me, Daryl. Dobbs is going to be on the pitch count today.
Yep.
Alex says, I was joking, guys. Hey, listen, we take jokes. We're not serious. He was talking about Josh. He's been my best friend for 20 plus years as a Packers fan. So, it is what it is.
It's fun because there's a ton of NFC North in this RotoHeat family. It's fun.
Yeah, there is. Brad, the Lions fan, but we feel bad for him.
Yeah, he doesn't really care.
Okay, so I got to put Evan Ingram in on this lineup. Okay, so we've got Dalvin Cook or Debo. I'm going Dalvin.
You are, eh? Maybe I should be, but I think both have a decently tough matchup. I'll go with Debo here, but I don't love it.
Sorry, guys. I'm not trying to be inattentive, whatever you say for that word, but I got to make sure my rosters are good too. No problem, Abu. Ask away. We are here to answer. Yo, Metcalf or Sutton? I'm going Metcalf here.
Yeah, I am too.
All fun and love, guys. Absolutely, Alec. Absolutely. We love having you guys around here, and we love talking football and talking a little bit of shit to go along with it.
Totally.
Better not ask me about the future of Jordan Love.
Please, Marco, elaborate.
Damn it. He said better not. Sully always does the opposite. Gainwell or Swift in PPR since Penny is likely a healthy scratch.
Seriously?
I didn't even know that. That changes a lot.
Son of a bitch. I got a lineup change to make then.
Not really, because Boston Scott could get highly involved too. They just have a slew of running backs there.
Like
I mean,
it's a guillotine league where I'm desperately effed. So I'm going to start Swift over Gainwell until they prove to me that Gainwell is worthy of the hype that he's getting.
I'm in the same boat, man. That's a tough one. Who knows what the hell they're doing there, but they sure know how to make it tough in Philly for us, don't they?
Their quarterback is their number one running back.
I got to hit my next league here to make sure I'm good. Alex, is any chance Musgrave has a better game than Kmet today? Listen, rookie tight end. I mean, there's always a chance, right? But he's got a tough matchup. The Bears are going to be really good at defending the tight end, I think. Their linebackers with Edmonds and Edwards are great in coverage. And then Kyler Gordon in the nickel, he's going to be a pretty good nickel now that they only have him concentrating on the nickel instead of bouncing in and out. I think that makes it tough on all opposing tight ends when they play Chicago, let alone a guy trying to make his first start. So I do think Musgrave could be good long-term, but first start rookie, I'm not going with it at this point. Okay.
Evan Hull, Sean Tucker, or I need a penny replacement. Hull or Tucker or Latavius Murray. Nice roster.
I mean, I think you got to go Hall, right? He's got the clearest line.
Just hope he catches some passes.
It's done. That's tough though. That's bad.
That's another guillotine league that's going to end soon.
Lex plants some trees. Gainwell, Swift, Charbonnet, or Bateman. Pick 2 in PPR. Okay, this is where I'm going to go Swift and Charbonnet here.
So first of all, shout out to Lex, who I think has been here the whole time this morning.
Lex is awesome.
I will
Definitely
go
need to plant a tree.
with Swift and Charbonnet as well.
Man, I have some bad rosters.
Me too. This is the same thing happens every week where I'm like, man, I have too many teams. Why am I in so many leagues when I'm trying to do this, that? Like I haven't even looked at DFS, and I probably won't till later this afternoon, but whatever.
D-Hop, Michael Thomas, or Deion Jackson. Michael Thomas is the lead in here. I think he was one spot ahead of D-Hop. So Deion Jackson's not in the conversation for me this week. Yeah. I need to see what the Colts do with that running back. And then maybe not even next week, because if Zach Moss makes it back next week, that just muddies it even more. Even though I don't love him, but I don't love any of them. So I'm going Michael Thomas here.
I think I'm going to go Hopkins, but I'd be happy with Thomas or Hopkins.
Marco says Jordan will be the starting QB for ELF season after next. ELF?
He's from
European
the future.
League football?
Okay. He's from the future, so he would know. It's
a whole new
he's starting a whole new league for Jordan Love, so that's cool.
Dameon Pierce, Brian Robinson, Jamal Williams. Which two should get the start? I'm going with Pierce and Williams.
I'm going with Pierce and Robinson.
Sim says, thank y'all. No problem at all. Thank you for joining in. Nicholas says, MT or Bateman? This is easily MT for me.
I don't think it's easily, but it's MT for me too.
Jaz says, plant trees all around. Jaz, how you doing today? That catches us up on questions, so I can get these.
Jaz is a legend.
So I told you guys that I would let you know how Justin Fields' success really is important to me today. So obviously I have him in some leagues, but that's not why it's the most important. So let me pull this up here real quick. Prize Picks. Come on.
You eligible to play Prize Picks now?
It is in Indiana now.
Oh, nice. It's
So
good.
I don't have to
Don't have
drive
to go
to
for a
Michigan
drive
anymore. Don't have to do it anymore. So my small one this week is a $25 6-pick flex play where Dak Prescott is the free play this week. You can do a max of $25 on the free on the pick. He needs to get 1 pass yard, and I'm good on him. We got Khalil Herbert needs 9 receiving yards. Michael Thomas 42 receiving yards. Christian McCaffrey 34 receiving yards. Chase Claypool 16 receiving yards, and DJ Moore 48 receiving yards. So I got the 3 Bears in there, but they need a combined less than 65 yards, I think. 70 yards for those
that's
3.
legit.
So that's 25 to win 625. But then the big one is 175, and it's all the same except for Dak's removed because you can only play it once. And it's $175. So it's all the same except for Justin Fields, 246 total yards, pass plus rush yards.
I think that's remotely feasible.
And that'll pay $4,375 if I hit all 6 of those. So that's where I'm.
Well, let's win that.
Justin Fields' success in week 1 is.
I worry a little bit about the MT number. I think it's not. I don't think it's that high, but you never know, right? And the Claypool one freaks me out because I just don't know. You know the Bears better than I do, but
I'll tell you what, man. He got rave reviews all summer outside of, obviously the soft tissue issue, missing the last 2 weeks of preseason or whatever. But everybody was saying out of Chicago that he looked on par with DJ Moore this year, knowing the playbook, being with Fields for an offseason. I think he's going to be big this year. But I just think he's more talented than Darnell Mooney. Got Andrews out, Kmet or Juwan Johnson. I'm going Kmet here.
Yep, very close, but yes.
European League of Football. So it's the 3rd season this year. At least I guessed right. Mike Evans or Dotson?
Dotson.
I'm going Mike Evans.
Really?
I'm going Mike Evans.
Okay.
I think. Well, I'll double check. But I have Evans as wide receiver 33 and Dotson as wide receiver 40 or 35. So they're close. So I won't argue against Dotson if that's what you want to do. School of Crop says Dotson. Josh, is definitely going to be some West Coast insomnia this year. 5 games in Europe for the first time.
Love it.
I have insomnia right now. Nicholas says. All right, fellas. This gives us 12 minutes. That's all the questions we've got. We appreciate you guys sticking around for 4 hours. Some of you, and we got to make sure our rosters are set and everything's good to go. So we will see you guys next Saturday night for more questions and answers and lineup reviews, and then Sunday morning again. Appreciate everybody, and we will see you later.
Good luck this week, everyone.